amazing. Rocky, I want to see you.
I really don't think they flew 90 billion light years to start a fight.
Some say chill days so long gone, can't bring them back, no magic wand. Counting white cotton clouds, painted on the blue sky's crowd. And yet somehow that way is fake, with eternal hopeful flair. Pineapple pizza, Hawaii that's freeze ya. Can't wait to be up 3 days of you and me. I'm
sailing! I'm sailing!
I just can't wait for 3 days of you and me.
He's been cited by Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, Benny Johnson, Timcast, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and even the U.S. government.
But soon they'll wake up to see the summer sizzles in me.
We're doomed. Will this never end?
Direwolf's back and so are you.
Oh yeah,
Belvedere flying over the moon.
oh yeah.
And everyone's singing just the right tune. Maestro blasting on the jazz flute.
We are all participating in mandatory fun activities.
Jelly bean bonus, every flavor in the bag. Super movie star, but first gotta join SAG.
Keep our eyes open.
Wunderkind, super friend, where are you? Get a search warrant for the near clear blue.
It's scooping time.
And can't you believe that? We've been waiting on you, can't you see that? Put away the bad things they said to you.
You are a sad, strange little man. You have my...
After all, just have to call and say you're some kind of
Because you are the special.
epic. Epic, epic, yeah, that's what you do. I'm talking about epic, epic, it's all you know how to do.
You wake up blue to
Epic, epic, it's on repeat for you. Oh, epic, epic, epic. Epic.
Hear ye, come on, come on, to the never stopping daily strife, and it's called simpler times, they beckon so, floating on the water with no foam. Can we get away now, find a way now, somehow step out of this stream into a dream of slow it down. Jay says that he remembers a place before the never, ever, ever river severed our tranquility. Counting cars by Highway 30, sitting in the porch swing, guessing colors so poorly. Yeah. Is the next one a blue or red one? Maybe silver, maybe gray. What a way to spend a day.
Ladies
and gentlemen, it's the WDW Pro Show! And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the summer intro starting today at the end of Memorial Day and running through at least the 4th of July. Hope you enjoy it. It's a lot of fun making those. And we've got another one that runs a long time when we do the Christmas one, the holiday one that goes all the way from Thanksgiving, which can be the middle of November, until usually the first or second week of January. So this is going to be one of those fun ones. Lauren, were you here in time to see that I got Rada in there, Stinky the Hut?
I missed that part, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay, he's there. He's there. All right.
You have thrown me off my stride with this. I am somewhat ruffled.
What happened to you, Lauren? What went wrong here?
I come in here. I expect certain music to bop to, and that's not what I heard. This is unusual.
I understand. It can be disconcerting. What if I told you that I have something to put us back in the right mode for the pro show?
Is Jonas back?
No, not Jonas.
Oh, well.
Monday's back.
Well, it's Monday. We're back again.
It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party! It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party!
And I know of no better way to party than with Marv, who is eating. What do you got there, Marv? What is that? Is that a burger, a donut? What are we doing?
Chicken finger.
Chicken finger.
I knew exactly what he was eating, and I'm upset about it.
Well, you didn't bring enough for the rest of us.
I didn't. You're right.
Well, you need 600 at least, because I just put up the 500
There aren't
Chiron.
enough in my house for Lauren, so.
I just put up the Chiron, and 600 of you was achieved rather quickly across X, the Tickety Talks, the Instagrammies, and everywhere else we might be. And gentlemen, we got a show to talk about because it is breaking at this very moment. They are reconfiguring the Mandalorian box office numbers.
Oh, boy.
Now, I want everybody to know that we're fair here, okay? Now, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. I said it was a meh kind of movie. Marv gave it a 5 out of 10?
5, yeah. Ish.
Lauren gave it a 7, and Wiz just ravaged the thing, give it a 1.5. So we're all over the gamut here when it comes to The Mandalorian. We're trying to call balls and strikes, and everybody has an opinion, and that's fine. But there is not really an opinion other than the box office is looking terrible. And I'm starting to wonder, guys, we're going to get into this in just a minute once we do Super Chats, and we've got an excellent panel, and I can't wait to bring someone that we've already put the link into out there, folks. If you'd go check out the link that we've got in the chat, we'd love for you to check out Philip Chan's YouTube channel and subscribe. But, guys, I think they put out false headlines on purpose, because I think now we're headed for this thing being under 100 million, but I don't think they're going to mention that. I don't think they're going to say it until Wednesday, and by that time, everybody's moved on. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Wizard and I were just kind of talking about this, that even if by Wednesday it's down to 90 million, 80 million, whatever, there are people that have already heard 103, and they will lock in on that number, and no matter what you show them, they heard 103, and that's what they wanted to hear, so it's 103.
Right.
If it's a strategy, it's a terrible one, because sure, the general public may hear that, but the advertisers are going to know different. It's like, I think this is, at this point, this is pointless. Trying to make the propaganda war. It's like they're losing money.
But it's a propaganda war in the fact that, like, they are trying to keep people to make people perceive that this is still a thing, that this is still a hit, that the cultural footprint of this IP has not completely eroded when it really has.
It's not a good. It's not a great place for The Mandalorian. I'll just tell you, the fact that they are actively, we're still in the weekend technically, right? Memorial Day is considered part of the weekend. It's part of the 4-day, and they are currently going back and saying, well, it actually didn't make what we told you it made. We're sorry. We're sorry. Well, I'm sorry. We won't accept it.
They're reporting on it. They're reporting on the Monday box office before Monday was even open.
Yep, and we called it. We said bohunkus. We said bohunkus, and well, they didn't understand what that meant, and neither did we. But it probably means we don't believe you. Now, guys, you're taking. Marv is coughing, and Lauren is sipping stuff. I tell you what. I'm not on camera yet. This starts Wednesday, right? Remember, everybody. We're going to do a camera studio reveal Wednesday, and for evermore after that, I'll be on camera. But one of the things we're going to start doing is click it and sip it. So here's what we're going to do, guys. Everybody out there, we've got, 750 of you joining us right now and rising like a reverse meteor. Grab your beverage and let's take a drink. But before we do, click it. Stick it to the algorithms. It's the like button. Share this out and sip whatever you've got. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Lauren, I believe you are finished with yours, sir. And it's gone. We need a sound for that. I don't know what sound we're to give it. If it had a, don't throw that. You put that back on the desk. All right, it'll make a mess. Ladies and gentlemen, let's find who's behind the doors, who's coming to join us on the panel tonight. Let's get started right now.
Who could that be? Let's go see, boys and girls.
Well, that is not what I anticipated. It kicked out the others. Okay, StreamYard, we're doing even more fancy things than we typically do. Welcome to the stage, Philip, and we've got Andy Masterton as well. Philip Chan is out there with us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know Phil was going to be here tonight. I'm very excited.
He's here.
How's it going, everyone?
And look at you, Marv. You're sandwiched between Lauren and Phil. How much better can the world be?
No, if always, dear diary, it gets better.
do I get to pick which side? Because I feel like that's important.
Oh boy, this is going places. Andy, save us here. Welcome to the show, Andy.
Thank you. I am not eating chicken fingers because I believe even chickens have the right to type.
Chickens have the right to type. I don't know what part a chicken uses to type, but I can only imagine it's the beak. It's bleak for chickens these days in journalism.
Chicken fingers.
Oh, I get it. And that's how the buffaloes fly, with their wings.
Got them.
Yep, got me. Phil, before we dive into the first headlines, could you tell the folks out there a little bit about your channel and what it is you do, sir?
Hi, thanks so much for having me on. My name is Phil, and I have my own channel called just Mr. Philip Chan. Very, very creative, and I typically talk about pop culture. Sometimes I'm leaning into politics, play video games here and there. And then every Saturday we have a show that I do with a buddy of mine that lives in the Philippines called Project Egg Roll.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Folks, get over and subscribe to Philip today. You'll be happy that you did so.
My favorite Phil videos are his Asian dad reacts to stuff where, Phil's Asian dad comes in and reacts. It looks an awful lot like the real life fake wizard, I'm just going to say. But
could be. Honestly, I think we need to consider the possibilities. All right, folks, let's consider the possibilities. Let's consider the possibilities that this may be the greatest community online, and we know it is. It's Super Chat time. Let's dive in. From Juliet for 2, evening WDW Pro panel and pro rights. Good to see you, Juliet. Paul 12,000 for $2. I want to buy this SNES game. I never saw it. It's a sequel to Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Kalioth for 5. It's time for the WDW Pro Summer Sizzle. We're moving on. I got to say, Pedro's time has come and gone. We'll have a new sizzle probably coming out next week. Get ready. New intro this week. And we still have to make an intro for one of our usual panelists who may or may not know karate or the ancient art of wayayata. We've also got Wilton's dad out there for 2. I was denied my son, so you're stuck with me tonight. Deeply concerning. Kalioth for 5. Accent. Wait a minute. What accent am I doing? Real life fake wizard has rotisserie Grogu, finger licking good, but hungry 5 minutes later, Ernest P. Worrell forever. I don't know. Kalioth, you got to tell us which accent we're doing. Are we doing Ernest?
Insert your own accent. Everybody can have their own when they read this to themselves.
Do Scottish.
Real life fake wizard has rotisserie Grogu, finger licking good, but hungry 5 minutes later, Ernest P. Worrell. Forever. There you go.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, thank you. Ken Burrows, member 5 months. WDW Pro. Hello. All the love for the intro, guys and gals. Thank you so much. Get away new. Oh, no, we can't say that. Patrick is out there gifting 5 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you, Patrick. We appreciate you.
I want to hear it.
Not right now.
Yes, now, Dusty Bun.
Wait. Okay.
God dang it, from the bottom of our hearts here on the WDW Pro channel, thank you.
We've also got Rob in Tennessee for $2. Real life fake wizard M4 Empire early raid toll tax.
Yeah, we raided a minute early.
Yep, be careful. You don't want FDOT to come after you, and they will. Patrick, anyway, for 5, they had the Mandalorian and Grogu box office on Film Threat versus, and it appeared it had a strong box office at more or less than 80 million. The problem is,
as we would translate that, the lowest domestic box office release in Disney Star Wars history.
Yeah, so the problem is that if we go back to Box Office Theory 3 days before this released, what were the industry projections? And they were about 20 million higher than where we are right now. That's the problem. That's what we're facing. It's not overachieving if it beats the lowest floor possible by a mil. And as Marv said, lowest performing Star Wars film ever. 7 years of pent up demand. And I'm not telling you folks, if you don't, if you like it, I'm happy for you. Lauren liked it, and I'm happy for Lauren. But after 7 years, I'm not sure this was sufficient. And so after 7 years, you would expect pent up demand for Star Wars would really catapult this into a huge lead. Instead, if we adjust for inflation, it's $30 million behind Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, that's not me being mean to the movie. It's not me poo-pooing those of you who like it. It's just the facts. It's just math. And math is math. Numbers are numbers, and we deal with it here.
And that's why we brought an Asian on this week.
I like math.
We always have an Asian on Mondays. Wizard will be
he has
by.
abacuses.
That's probably why Wizard is not here today.
Abakai, you Philistine.
Is it really Abakai?
Yes, absolutely. Don't bother looking it up. It is
not going to. I like it. It's very fancy. Prestigious, some might say. Michael Moore for 999. We wish it was more nines, but we'll take the 999. When I first saw Grogu, I assumed they would use him in a story set 500 to 900 years in the future as the new Yoda character. Instead, they chose to do nothing with him.
I was so excited to see what they'd do with him. I was really surprised when they chose nothing.
At this point, he's a green-skinned Furby. I mean, that's just what he is. He's, that's it. I like Grogu in the first 2 seasons. I just thought he would, stop cooing at some point and do something.
My thing is, he's able to use complex force powers now. He can, do the force enhanced jumps and stuff like that. That all seems way more complicated than talking.
Yeah, just say dada. You can do all this, but you can't say dada.
Can I actually offer a minor thought on this issue?
Thought you must give.
This is obviously an untrue story, but it's entered folklore. You know who Yoda's eyes were based on, right?
Please tell me Betty Davis.
When Stuart Freeborn was making the Yoda puppet, he based Yoda's eyes on Albert Einstein. And there is a story, obviously untrue, but it is entered folklore, that Albert Einstein didn't speak until he was somewhere between 3 and 5 years old. And when he did finally begin speaking, when asked why he had not done so, it was because until that point, there was no reason to do so, that everything had been sufficient.
Which is half as cool as Chuck Norris roundhouse kicking his way out of his mother's womb, which is where we get the term C-section. It really stands for Chuck, but doctors are too afraid to say the name. Wait a minute, we got to go back. Ken for 2, is that real fake wizard without the hat and beard? Oh, Ken, I can't believe you would do that to us.
That's Nolan Thunder.
Yeah. Paul 12,000 for...
Somebody said that recently. They were like, I always thought Wizard was Nolan in disguise. And that made my entire day.
Paul 12,000 for 5. This is Super Chat 5. El Cinco. We are counting at 0 for some reason tonight. Keep the count alive. All right, Lauren, we have unstarred some of these. I did not realize the counter for YouTube is not working again this evening. Lauren, I'm going to put you in charge if that's okay. That's not a desirable job, but could you be the umpire on that one? Could you be scorekeeper on the 499 and up Super Chats?
I'll do my best.
All right, folks. We'll give you an update when we've got it. And sometimes, I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but sometimes that counter will unstick, and suddenly it will flood in with the correct number. We'll see if it happens. Did not happen during TPP Live, but we will keep you up to date. Captain Fandom Nerd, member for 28 months. Good evening. And good evening to you, Fandom Punch. We've also got Chief William Schweikert out there for 5. I remember 22 shipmates that died when the ferry capsized during Desert Shield. Captain Spiker died in combat. His remains were brought home in 2012. And folks, we do want to say a special thank you to everybody out there who has served, but especially today, those who gave everything. And we'd also like to remember those who have been POWs too. A lot of people just forget about the POWs, and I think that's unfair. To all the families out there who have lost a loved one in the service, We want to say that we honor and respect you, and we appreciate you. Memorial Day is an important day to take time to stop and think about the world we live in and the world we could have lived in if not for the heroes. And we have heroes to remember today. Francis Hates, member for 32 months. Trapper Wolf is a hack. And Mango and Guacamole. No, Gru sucks. I can never keep up with what we're calling Grogu now. Cyrano 2960 for 5. Dad joke. I've never seen a chicken finger, but I have seen a chicken strip. Greetings all.
Cue the saxophone music.
Really? You want Kenny Rogers right now? That's a joke. Kenny the sax and Kenny Rogers had roasters. I'm sorry, that was too deep. I apologize.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
he
depth
cooked
was the
chicken.
problem.
He was the rotisserie guy, but where was a sax ever involved?
Sax. It's hard with Kenny. You just can't keep them apart.
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many. No! Now, ascend, my son.
Ascend we shall with Fake Wizard. Welcome, sir, to the panel.
You know, I saw that super from Ken, and I was like, I just have to jump on now because clearly, Phil and I are two different people.
Yes,
okay? I just want to be clear.
You're at least two different
Which one of you is
squares.
talking right now?
You're at least two different squares, but I do want to let everybody know that there is wizardry possible now with computers and AI, and I'm not suggesting that either of you is, but it's, you know, there were these guys in World of Warcraft back in the day, and they would have an alt account, and they would lead it around with two computers on one internet connection. I'm just saying the possibility does exist.
Yeah, I was one of those guys. I totally did that once.
Yeah. Alliance or the Horde, Wiz?
Alliance.
Okay, just checking. You're a paladin, aren't you?
I am.
I knew you were.
Yeah,
I knew you were.
Human paladin, dude.
Even more so. Hold on. Did you try to break the mold, and did you go protection instead of healing?
I am a protection paladin.
I knew it. I know you so freaking well.
I am 100% a human protection paladin. Yes.
He's an AoE tank, folks. You don't know what that means, but I promise you, he knows. All right, folks, 1100. I know this man. His personality. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get one more super, and then we've got just about 1,100 of you. Actually, we're surpassing that and heading for 12. And that means it's a party. And this party's going to get started with the news. We'll dive in just a second. Kaylee for 5. Thank you, all military family members, for your service. Facebook did let go 22% of workforce recently, so maybe those pool-bound California girls disappeared. Oh, my. I wish they all could be California girls. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Let's talk about the breaking news that's happening right now. Mando and Grogu box office headlines. They were lies. And now it's time to revise it. How much farther does it go? How low will it go? We'll tell you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's revision time for the box office on Mandalorian and Grogu, and they're downgrading it as we speak. First attention I got on this was I was checking the numbers and I saw round zeros everywhere, and I said, number one, that looks odd, and number two, that looks less than it was just a few hours ago. And, well, we found out as time went on that these numbers are going down. Domestic box office now rounded down to 81 million, but you'll notice all those zeros, that's not real. That's the estimate, and the estimate is dropping. The international box office also down, previously 65. The domestic was 83. Worldwide box office now measured at 144 with zeros across the board. And the chances that this thing is going to reach the numbers they thought, dropping by the minute. Let me explain why.
I have it on good authority that $2 billion is in play.
$2 billion, you say? Lauren, you know what? You
Lauren,
jumped the
where's
line.
the finger gun? You got to do the finger guns with that.
Come on, Lauren, say pew, pew, pew. Sign me up.
I'm not going to do the voice, no.
Lauren beat me to the punch. Here we go, folks.
Everybody keeps telling me there's no way that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie makes $2 billion. But I think people are underestimating this movie.
I know I've said it 1,000,001 times on this stream, and I still believe it to be true. The Mandalorian and Grogu will make $1 billion. And you could be looking at 1.5. You could be looking at maybe 1.7. And if it's really good, you could be talking about a $2 billion movie.
Yeah, I'm standing by it. $2 billion is absolutely in play.
Okay, so, we've made fun of them plenty. We've made fun of them plenty, but we have to. We just have to because, listen, they're victims of the mainstream media and their fandom, but they're victims of choosing who tells them what to believe. Now, if you look at this, folks, here's the reason this movie's in big trouble, to borrow from Chris Berman. The domestic box office, this is measuring Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday is not yet included. 81 million. Now, I just named 4 days. Monday is not included. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, I'm not the best at math, but I can tell you, based on my understanding from third grade, 80 million divided by 4 gets me to 20 million. And I can also tell you that I'm not sure that Memorial Day operates anywhere close to the preview day, the Friday opening day, and the Saturday. I'm not sure a Monday, even if it's a holiday, comes anywhere close to that. And if it doesn't, the domestic's under 100. The domestic is under 100 if that holds true. And everybody's guessing right now, except that everybody's pulling it back. Real quick, a couple of things I want to show you before the panel weighs in, and they've got lots to say. Rebecca Rubin from Variety on May 24th, we were very harsh about this. She said, box office, Mandalorian and Grogu lifts off with 102 million over Memorial Day holiday. And we're very harsh about this because we said, well, how do you know that exactly? Like, how are you speaking in the present tense about something that hasn't happened and you don't have the ticket sales at this time for Sunday or Monday? But actually, this is slightly down. Some of them were calling out 103. So well done, Rebecca. At least you didn't go that high, right? Where are they now? Well, over on Deadline, Anthony D'Alessandro is updating. Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu opens to 163 worldwide, 100 million 4-day US. What does this even mean? Now, Anthony is putting out the $100 million mark as the headline. And he's including the Monday in this because he's guessing, he's estimating. Some call it a guesstimate. And that means that we won't have the real numbers until Wednesday. We won't get the final tally until Wednesday. But by that time, it'll be too late. All of the public will have moved on. They won't be reading those headlines anymore. That's old news. And I believe that the mainstream media confused people on purpose. I think it's unlikely now this gets to the $100 million mark for the weekend on the domestic box office, but the headlines straight up lied to you. Phil, I want to go to you first on this one. Your thoughts on the way the press manipulated this the whole way through on the weekend just to make sure they gave it 100, because if they said 99, if they said 98, that was going to be a horrible fate for Star Wars.
I think that this is all, in a way, just to make the investors happy. I think they're trying to show that, hey, this IP and what we have right now is not a failure. It's not considered a failure. But if you actually consider a lot of people, this is more for like the younger group, right? The movie is about like a little over 2 hours, 10 minutes, 2 hours, 12 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't watch the movie, but I've seen a lot of feedback. I've seen reviews and stuff like that. And even someone like most critical, Charlie, he said that this movie is not a good movie. And he has how many million subscribers? 16 million subscribers on YouTube. He reaches out to a lot of younger demographic. And this is what it's supposed to be for, right? A younger demographic. And I don't think this movie is going to have any legs. I think it's just, I think it's all bullcrap, in my opinion. I think that they're trying to make it look good. So hopefully, hey, the movie is actually doing really, really good. Oh, let's go watch it next week. And I think that the next week fall off is going to be huge compared to the first weekend.
I totally agree with you. And I'm starting to wonder, too, did the PG-13 hurt it? Because it's very clear in this film that, there's almost no language, but there are a couple places where they intentionally go a little extra violent, specifically one place with fire. And I think it was just to get the PG-13 rating. Turns out all the kids 7 to 12, the boys 7 to 12, that's demo. They didn't aim for them, but that's the demo. And they can't go without a parent because it's PG-13. So I don't know, panel, what do you say? Did the PG-13 hurt them?
Yeah, well, and I think that those boys, 7 to 13, have been told for their entire lifetime that Star Wars is not for them, so they don't actually care. They're home watching anime because that is actually marketed to them. I think that what you're seeing right now is they've said 100 million, and the people that want to hear 100 million have heard it. And so now it's in their head, and no matter what actual number comes out that's real, those people will be like, no, it's 100 million, and they'll pull up screenshots from, incorrect projections, and they'll throw it in your face. And it's going to create just more fan contention and fan fighting on X and whatnot. It's absolutely insane just how hard people are going to the mattresses for this movie right now. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like this movie of all movies that they're defending it with this much vitriol.
Yeah, and if we look at the Disney movies, like all of the Disney movies come in at PG-13. Almost all of the George movies the George Lucas movies come in at PG, except for Revenge of the Sith. And I remember that. I remember Revenge of the Sith, like, oh my gosh, it's PG-13. Why? Well, you know, it's a lot of cool action scenes. But,
a lot of dead kids, yeah.
Disney stuff has been PG-13.
Yeah, but
a lot of slaughtered babies.
I doubt if the rating would have anything to do with it anyway. I have never, to my knowledge, ever seen a theater turn away kids under 13 to go to a 13 movie. I don't think they really police that all that much until you get to R, if they even police it then. It's just there for the parents to pay attention, and let's be honest, the parents don't pay attention.
Well,
Yeah,
okay, so...
I
Go
was
ahead,
going to
Marv.
say I was always getting into PG-13 movies, you know, when I was under 13. That wasn't a thing anyone's ever really cared about. I guess it doesn't PG even stand for like parental guidance suggested for under 13. Like rated R is no admittance under 17 unless with a parent or guardian.
It's been a few since I've tried to bypass that. You know, it's been a little bit since I tried to break my way into a PG-13. But Wiz, I was thinking of you earlier today as I saw these numbers downgraded quietly, nobody really saying out loud, hey, we're reducing the numbers. All of us are doing that right now. And Wiz, I was thinking about you, and you have really, I think, been leading the way here, saying Star Wars is dead, cancel Disney Plus, all that sort of stuff. And I just wondered, what's your take on this as we go now into the next stage of the news coverage, which will be the second weekend drop? What do you think we had?
You know what's crazy is that on the same weekend that we get Mandalorian out, we're actually getting a record breaker with the horror movie Obsession, which was a 39% increase weekend into its second weekend, right? And here's a movie that is being judged strictly on the merits of here's what the budget was as a production budget, here is what it cost Universal to buy that movie. And then everybody is getting rich because this movie is making tons of money. You see, here's what the budget is in, here's what's coming out. And here with Star Wars, in the same weekend, people are shifting the goalpost every which way they possibly can. Oh, well, Disney did this with advertising. Oh, well, Disney did this with merchandise. Oh, Disney did this over here. So they're making money in some way with this film.
Won't someone please think of the merch sales, Wiz?
Yes,
one of the biggest mistakes they made, Wiz, was the Disney executive, the anonymous Disney executive. And I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to shift the narrative, but gave away the football to THR and said it needs $600 million to break even. That was, what a horrible thing. I mean, somebody's in trouble in the C-suite because that, I bet, was not supposed to be leaked to THR.
No. But what we are seeing is it feels like a moral responsibility is to hold these people accountable. I mean, Marv and I talked about it on Culture Crossfire. There are 3 ways that you can disprove the narrative of it was $165 million. That's all it costs to make this. No, that doesn't account for marketing. That doesn't account for theatrical exhibition breakdown. And it also doesn't account for all of the things that Valiant Renegade pointed out and informed us all about the top of line budget items that are not in the original $165 million. Those are three facts, not opinions, not ideas, facts, 3 factual numbers we don't have that would make the budget on this significantly higher than what it is. I feel it is a moral responsibility to hold the press, the social media, the influencers, and all of the shills accountable because they are white knighting for this thing. Star Wars bleeding out in the snow they cannot sustain that, especially when you have at the same time in the theater something that was made by a YouTuber absolutely crushing it. This is the end of Hollywood. And with the next few things on the horizon for what's coming next, we got Supergirl, The Odyssey, Toy Story 5. We got to see where that lands. It is a terrible year to be Hollywood. The Emperor has no clothes.
Here's the other thing that we need to say, and you're exactly right, Wiz. These numbers are dropping. That means our projection must drop as well. So here's the deal, folks. Depending on how the Monday performs, we now have to change where we're at on this. And it's simple because we're not going to change off the 2.25 that we think will be the legs ultimately for this film. So if it has a 2.25 leg out, and part of the reason we think that it only has a 2.25 leg out is because it's facing He-Man in 10 days, and He-Man is going to take away all the PLFs in 10 days. I mean, there is no runway. It has a second weekend, and it's over. Now, I mean, it's not over. It'll still be in theaters, but all the high-end tickets are gone. So where do we put this now, folks? If we do a 2.25 runway for this, or 2.25 leg out, we're now looking at, depending on the Monday, 323 million to 375 as the worldwide total haul. And that would be catastrophic. That would be completely and totally catastrophic. There's no doubt about it. Now, there's a way that you know it's catastrophic. And Andy, I want to get you in on this one. We know it's catastrophic because the shift has happened. The rats are leaping off of the ship. When Rolling Stone is known for basically one thing, and they shill for whatever is the anti-truth. When Rolling Stone actually, they even see it to the point they say, it's cooked. Andy, it's over. I think this is the first sign truly that everybody needs to get in line now and know Star Wars is dead. We're not going to carry the water anymore. We're not going to try to fake it. Everybody accept it and let's move on. We killed the thing. We're happy about it. Stuck it to the Chuds because the Chuds love Star Wars. So neener. We took away your favorite toys and they're out of there. That's the plan.
If only they had made Hunter, Wolf, and Grogu. that would have really brought them in.
Trapper Wolf. I thought you were going with Hunter
Trapper
Biden
Wolf.
there for a minute. I thought you were going to put Hunter Biden with Grogu, and I was like, no, Andy, don't do that.
I saw firsthand exactly just how little people care about this. I was at Disney's Hollywood Studios over the weekend on Saturday, the day after this movie released, the day after Hollywood Studios just revamped its Smuggler's Run Millennium Falcon ride into The Mandalorian and Grogu. 4 p.m., 20-minute wait. Hollywood Studios was crowded. You walked into Galaxy's Edge, and there's nobody there. It was a ghost town. And then you walk back out into Toy Story Land, and it's shoulder-to-shoulder people again. It's like it was just a dead space. It was where you go when you want to get away from it. It was Tom Sawyer Island in a sense.
Marvin,
like
for
it's
a
where
new
you go when
ride,
you want to get away from the crowds.
For a new ride that is cross-promoting a film that literally is releasing the same weekend as the ride.
And so that had a 20-minute wait the next day, prime time in the parks. And if you scroll down, Pro, you could see an image of what it was like for the Big Thunder reopening. With that ride barely even changed. It was just a couple new lights. And it was packed with people. Look at all those people. That's what a new ride at Disney is.
And I want to piggyback off of, sorry to interrupt you. I do want to piggyback off of what Marv is saying, is because I was there. Okay, I was there at Disneyland when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out that weekend. Or Indiana Jones. No new movie tie, nothing. It was a 2-hour wait for that ride. Because people thought that there was going to be some kind of movie tie-in. People didn't care a lot. That was insane. Typically, that ride breaks down a lot, and it's about a 45-minute wait typically without Fast Pass back in the day. And it was a 2-hour wait, knowing that and hearing that this is a 20-minute wait for this Smuggler's Run. That's absolutely awful for Disney.
It gets even worse, Phil, because I passed the Mandalorian and Grogu, the characters, and nobody cared. Like, there were less than 20 people around them, where usually they have a mob. It was the day after the movie came out, and nobody cared. There's a full vlog coming to Park Hoppin' sometime this week. It's already edited and sent off, so it should be any day now, that actually shows you this. There's nobody there. And like what Phil's saying is true. Like if there was a new Zootopia, there'd be a big line for Better Together over in Animal Kingdom. That's what happens when people are actually excited for a property again. And I mean that was it. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which was a terrible movie that bombed too. So just think of how bad it is for Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah. So, and I think you guys are all exactly right. I mean, there's no better sign of how much trouble this is in than the ride, because. And we'll break this down much more in detail later on, folks. But the wait time actually dropped. It was a bad ride. And it dropped when they switched it to a better ride with Mandalorian. That's crazy. That never, ever happens. Lauren, I want to go to you. You like this film decently enough. You said it's not a great film, and I thought that was very fair of you. You went in open-minded. But clearly, a decent film is not sufficient to save Star Wars. And I think fans are actually angry. I don't think fans have abandoned Star Wars. I think fans are saying we will never return to Disney Star Wars. But I think people still love, and the Nielsen ratings bear this out. People still love A New Hope. People still love Empire Strikes Back. People still love Return of the Jedi. People still love the prequels. People even like Rogue One. But they are not going to let Lucasfilm off the mat. And that's very painful, I think, for Disney. And I don't know if they're going to accept it. What do you think happens now?
It's difficult to tell what happens now because I agree. I think people are extremely angry. It's hard to see any corrective measure that Lucasfilm or Disney can take at this point. We've all had discussions on what we think they might do. We've had discussions about behind the scenes things that we've heard, whether or not they're true or not. But quite simply, I'd go back to what I said when we were first discussing the movie. I enjoyed it, but this shouldn't be a movie, and it certainly shouldn't have been the movie that they put out now. This is not what the audience was looking for. The audience was looking for a clear course correction. The best that they got was that it didn't reference the sequel trilogy, but we need more than a negative reference to the thing that everybody hates. We need something that indicates that they have some kind of a plan, which is the thing that they have not had ever since they got a hold of the property. They've been working on this thing now for 14 years. Now, you could say a lot of that is because Kathleen Kennedy didn't have a plan. She was just making it up as she went along, and everybody was following suit. And it's a little unfair, given that Dave is just now supposedly taking over the reins. I think he's a little better at planning than she is, but he is a cartoon director, and that shows in his live-action stuff as well. And his plan is going to involve his pet characters. He doesn't have the juice necessary to be able to do the course correction needed to get Star Wars back into a healthy place.
Panel final thoughts on this one. I think by Wednesday it's going to be under 100. We'll cover it. But I think it's still going to be confusing to normies out there, and the Star Wars Disney fans, the few that still are there, the Raylos, the three of them in the world, will be out there crowing still about 103, 104, 105, even though it was a fake number all the time.
Can I add one final thing?
Go for it.
I'm going to put my prediction at final numbers when this thing finally takes a bow at 312.
Oh my gosh. That's under my... Come on, Lord. So we currently, and we're just using math, 323 to 375 is where we believe it will be. And that, again, is catastrophic. You're saying lower than that.
You remember what I said about the opening weekend numbers?
What did you say?
Initially, I said 65 to 70. And I was closer than you guys were on your projection, so I'm sticking at 312.
Let's see. Mine, what did I say? I think I said 85 on mine. I don't remember now. I hope I said the actual number, and I'm just too humble to say it now. Somebody go back and check and see. Tell me where was Pro at on this one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we'll leave it right now. But Star Wars is not in a good place. The headlines manufactured, the numbers not real. And by Wednesday, we'll tell you where this actually landed. But so many of the drive-bys, they'll have moved on, and they'll be into defending maybe the second weekend, or maybe they'll just be bragging about He-Man. Who knows? But so it goes with Star Wars. All right, folks, we have 1,700 of you joining us right now, and we want to say to every single person out there, have you ever wondered what Pro looks like? Have you ever said to yourself, maybe that guy who hides behind the avatar and anonymity secretly has 3 nostrils. Maybe that's why he won't go on camera. Well, you can find out what's true. Come this Wednesday evening. The Pro Show on Wednesday night starts our journey in camera usage. The studio will be live. I will be there, blazer and cap in tow. And yes, drinking from my mug that says The Pro Show. We upgraded. We added the word the to it. It's very impressive. As the mug grew, so did the text. All right, before we go to the next story, Wizard, are you wanting out of here, or do you want to stick around for one more? It's your call, sir.
It depends on what it is.
Okay, hang on. The next story is Lucasfilm going to Hayden Christensen to try to save them over the next 2 to 3 years.
You twist my arm.
All right. We've got him, folks. Here we go. Then we'll hit the Super Chats fast so we keep Wiz happy and with us. Here we go. Brian Locken. And by the way, Lauren, where are we at right now on the number on the Super Chats?
Last check was at 18.
18 out of 30, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize on the counter being broken, but even when YouTube breakifies, we rectify the situation. Brian Locken for 10. I saw Mando and Muppets today because as a big brother, I had to take my little brother to this. I never wanted to walk out so big. I want my time and money back. And again, I think the audience is bifurcated on this because I believe that some people go in there and say, it's a Star Wars movie. I want things to matter. And there are other people who say, it looks like Star Wars. It walks like Star Wars. It has action like Star Wars. It's okay. I don't think anybody really is raving about it. Has anybody out there seen a non-shill raving about the movie?
I mean, there's plenty of people on there online that have been loving it. I don't know if they're all shills. A lot of them aren't influencers, but I think there are some. They called it, Mando and Muppets, and my wife said something to me like she loves the scene from Muppets Take Manhattan where they have the Muppet babies in there. She was saying to me, like during the scene where it was just Grogu and the Babu Fricks, she was like, it's like watching Muppet babies.
It really is. Well, I wonder too, they leaned into those things looking like puppets. I said they were like the Doozers. Is it the Doozers or what are they? What are the things?
Yeah.
The Doozers from Fraggle Rock. They leaned into them looking and acting like puppets more than I expected. So, and Grogu did some stuff that was impressive. But after you've seen Project Hail Mary and Rocky, you're just like, boys and girls, this is nothing compared to what we just watched a few months ago.
Can I point something out about those puppet scenes? The ones with the N7s, I'm assuming
absolutely.
You're talking about? Those were the scenes directed by Dave Filoni.
Get out of here. Dave Filoni, noob alert. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate you. 5 gift memberships. It's so kind. Red Tigers for 10. Loved season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian. Love Grogu. But I have no interest in seeing this in theater. Streaming probably. If this was season 4 of Foundation or season 3 of Silo, I would make time for seeing that. Yeah, I think this is not as good as season 1 or season 2. Far better than season 3. But it's just okay. Kaylee for 5. Mike and Grok. Now that's a new one. Has good company on the list as the 3 worst grossing films in history with John Carter, The Lone Ranger, and The Marvels, all Disney coincidence. I think I got through to some people with the morning video because I looked up and adjusted for inflation, and when I saw Oz the Powerful, or whatever it was from 15 years ago by Disney, nobody remembers that movie. Sold more tickets than The Mandalorian and Grogu.
I
The Great and Powerful. You remember?
Yeah,
I
remember.
I watched that recently when my wife was on her Wicked kick.
Is it any good?
We had to watch everything.
It's
Oz.
better than Wicked 2.
It is.
There you go.
I did like James Franco.
He was good. He was good in that movie.
Yeah.
Can you believe that it made more adjusted for inflation than a Star Wars movie?
It made the mistake of setting up for a sequel, like it thought it was going to get a trilogy.
It happens sometimes. Wilton's dad for 5. Animes are better, funnier, and more heartwarming than this movie was. Welcome to Demon School is an excellent example. I see a nod from some of our panelists. We've got John for 5. I lost interest in all things Disney years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I still hang on to Walt.
The thing about anime also is it doesn't actively hate its own audience. So,
yes.
of course it's good.
Point.
Yep. Kaylee for 5. Part 2. What do those 3 Disney films have in common with Mike and Gronk? Legacy of Bob Iger's Stinky Disney. I added the stinky language. Mike Tar for 5. Is that like a Reptar reference? I don't know. Mike Tar, we love you. Our best hope. Disney should shelf the Star Wars IP. It is far too damaged to be salvaged as a serious property for storytelling. Or hear me out. They could just drop 3 very unpopular movies and say, moving on. Those don't count anymore. I don't know. It just seems kind of common sense at this point. Maybe. Cyrano for 5. Most of us lost interest when it went from a cool space western to woke slop due to the budget getting yanked for the Awfulite. Did the Acolyte take the money from Mando? I don't know. Acolyte's definitely no bueno. But I want a season 2 in theaters, please. Please give me the Acolyte season 2 in theaters. We will have all kinds of goodies around here. We'll restock the green room if we get Acolyte season 2 as a movie.
I don't know, Pro. I think the weekly, and we get to watch the episodes. That's every week, 8 weeks versus one movie.
I will buy. Yeah, you're probably right. If we get anything Acolyte, I will buy Culture Casino an entire barrel of candy corn just to say thank you to Disney. Mountain Giant for $4.99. I have a question. Is the Disney executive releasing the break-even point, the beginning process of justifying cleaning house at Lucasfilm? I don't think so, and I don't think it's a Lucasfilm exec. I suspect it's a Disney C-suiter, and I suspect that it was an attempt to try to get the narrative shifted at THR and say, well, it's actually a frugal film. We don't need that much.
Well, also, to move the goalpost to closer to 600, that would mean that the 165 million is so far off that they don't want to be misreporting to shareholders.
Exactly, because somehow you got to get to 300. Now, if you've got 165, and we know it's higher, but okay, the marketing, is up there. I suspect this is actually, the break-even is higher than we're being told. But for now, they're so bold as to claim it, and we'll use it because it's going to flop. It's not going to make 600 million.
Right.
We've got John out there for 10. John says, Pro, I know you try to keep things clean here. Today, I heard a bad girl actress, a witch you say, switch the letter, say, oh my diverse daddy on a bad people site. Boy, I am, this is a mental jungle that I'm trying to traverse through. On a bad people site, I immediately lost interest and closed that window. Well, John, you stay away from those bad people sites. Bad people sites are not for good people, just by virtue of the semantics of the thing. So there you go. DG for 2. Now everybody out there is wondering, what kind of bad people site was it? Hopefully it wasn't only trolls. You stay away from Wilson. Muppet spinoff, Mandalorian and Grogu. It would be better. John for 5, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it isn't always a duck. Sometimes it's yogurt. Spaceballs joke. I get it. Cole Hauser is out there for 2, a man who stands taller than almost any. Hail panel and praise raw. Well, thank you so much.
Shout out Cole Hauser.
He's not
Cole Hauser for the win. Whatever. Folks, we will never leave a super chat behind, but we do have to call it at this one. We'll come back and get the rest after the next segment. We got to keep Wiz alive, and the man is working hard. He's got hard things to do tomorrow. So for fairness of time, we'll call it here. Come back at the rest in a minute. John for 5. John Carter was actually entertaining despite the bad ratings. I have always thought that John Carter got a bad rap. I really, it didn't work, but it wasn't a bad movie. There's a difference in something not being market appealing and being qualitatively bad. And, I thought John Carter was fine. It just didn't do it. It just didn't make it. And that's the way it is. All right, folks.
Too much for it to be the experiment. It was an experiment, and it would cost way too much.
In my opinion, John Carter was the first film that reached a CGI level where you said, okay, we can now do anything, even if it wasn't successful.
Yeah.
So, maybe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to hit it. We're going to win it for you. And what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the fact that it looks like Lucasfilm is getting ready to dive into Darth. Not Garth. Darth Vader may be on the way because he's the only thing now they believe can save Star Wars. Star Wars is getting ready to go to the dark side as their box office darkens badly for them. Folks, take a look at this. We are no longer in rumor territory. Fiction Horizon is confirming a lot of the stuff we've been hearing and sending your way. I have no way of getting this name right. We do apologize to our author here, but just in respect, we'll give up and say you win. Anakin Skywalker is far from finished. Hayden Christensen reportedly set for 2 more Star Wars projects. Here's the story. It says few Hollywood redemption arcs have resonated quite as deeply with fans as Hayden Christensen reclaiming his place in the Star Wars universe. After a decade-long absence following the prequel trilogy, the actor returned to a franchise that had in many ways grown to appreciate what he had brought to Anakin all along, even if not the sand. Christensen famously played the future Darth Vader in Star Wars Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, before making his long-awaited return to the universe in Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then again in the first season of Ahsoka, appearing in digitally de-aged form across 2 episodes. We expect to see more of that. Both performances sparked renewed admiration from fans who had spent years hoping to see him back in the role. His return was made official at Star Wars Celebration, where a panel featuring Christensen, alongside Rosario Dawson, Dave Filoni, and Jon Favreau, confirmed he would reprise the role in Ahsoka Season 2. Now, according to a fresh round of insider reports, Christensen's run in the franchise may extend well beyond the upcoming second season. Industry insider Daniel Richtman is reporting that Christensen is set for at least 2 more Star Wars projects as Anakin, with the specific nature of these projects remaining unclear. All right, so there you go, folks. We've been talking about this. It's now out there, and I think it's time to reveal this next one. We've been paying attention to this, but I think this went under the radar, and now with this new info, it's time to clarify what this might mean. If we go to who is confirmed for Star Wars Celebration Los Angeles 2027, which would be the first big time Dave Filoni tries to reset all of this, if he's going to do so. Maybe Disney's going to try to start resetting things. It's in LA. Who is going to be there? Well, your headliner is Hayden Christensen. Yes, Anthony Daniels will be there. And yes, there are others. We'll have Ian McDermott, but Hayden Christensen, signed for more projects, is the headliner for Star Wars Celebration LA 2027. And I'm starting to wonder, is Darth Vader the way that they go at Lucasfilm to try to save this thing? And I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's a bad play at this point because I don't think they have any other plays left. I don't know that they can deliver. I don't believe they can deliver. However, they've got 2 options here. They can either lean big time into Darth Vader and all of his evilness and have Hayden do that, or we can go into World Between Worlds and reset everything and fix this thing with Anakin and Darth Vader being the chosen one who finally becomes the full prophecy-fulfilling chosen one who convinces Ahsoka to go back and fix it. I'm going to go in a specific order for a reason here. Wiz, I want to go to you first because I want to hear your thoughts on just where Star Wars is, and is this actually the last play they have? Is this the final Hail Mary from across the field, down by 7? And then I want to go to Lauren after that, and we'll get the rest of the panel. But Lauren knows so much about the lore of this and how they would do it. Let's go in that order. Fake Wiz, what do you got?
Well, we knew that Hayden Christensen was going to be back to some capacity anyway because we have Ahsoka Season 2 on the horizon. We know that Anakin is a Force ghost in that show. So, we knew he was coming back for at least one thing. The fact that they're saying that there is now 2 things, that it's the second one that I'm most interested in. And I think it contributes to your point, Pro, is that there has to be something there. Look, people love Anakin Skywalker. They like Darth Vader. And people really like Hayden Christensen, right? But I don't like Disney writers, and I don't think anybody else likes Disney writers. And Dave Filoni ain't got it, and everybody else that they could bring in, nobody really has this. The people that might have had it, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, got fired. So who do you have left other than the lackeys that are either going to do whatever Filoni wants or whatever the Disney corporate bosses want, and they don't know what they want. They don't know how to tell a good Star Wars story. So if you bring him back and you watch Hayden Christensen as Anakin because you tell a bad story, then people aren't going to want to watch that anymore either. So you have to be very delicate with this. The one thing you could say, because that Ahsoka Season 1 was garbage. It was aggressively terrible. And yet, what are the best moments of the show that actually go they supersede the actual show itself is all of the scenes with Hayden Christensen. You don't want to rewatch that show. You just want to rewatch the scenes that had Anakin Skywalker back because he is right back at it. So whatever it is, I'm skeptical. I'm glad to see he's getting work. I wish he was in more stuff. I would love to go and see him in movies on the big screen. I wish it wasn't that he was I don't want to use the word trapped, but I wish his career took him to other places where it wasn't just Star Wars forever. The story of Anakin Skywalker is done. Anything, and I know Lauren is going to talk about it, but anything that has to do with the Mortis characters, the father, the daughter, the son, normies are not interested. I'm a Star Wars guy, and I can't stand that storyline, and I know it came from George. I personally don't care for it. Unless we're going into Abeloth territory, which is a Super Legends deep cut. And Disney doesn't have the cojones to tell that story correctly. So I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence.
I think it's the only play they've got. Lauren, he may be the only part of Star Wars that's not damaged goods at this point. What do you think about this? And does it get us closer to the rumor that we've been reporting since the 3rd?
I just want to point out that Fake Wizard made the incorrect argument here. He is correct that they don't have the cojones to tell that story correctly. But I believe they do have the cojones to tell that story incorrectly. And I think that he would probably agree with me.
I do, yeah.
I think if they want to do something with Vader, that is a massive mistake. And I have explained that many times before. Everybody thinks you want a Vader movie. Believe me, you do not want that. Vader is best when he is used sparingly. And if you want an example that gives you something that can prove that point, I'm probably going to take some flack for this. Look at the Maul Shadow Lord story that they just did. In my opinion, that was not a good show. I know a lot of people liked it, but I honestly thought there were 2 good episodes, and other than that, it was worthless and didn't move anything forward. I do think that Anakin is likely to be used in the World Between Worlds. I think that they have to keep him in the spirit realm, and I think the goodwill of Anakin in the show, as I agree with Fake Wizard, that was the one great thing about Ahsoka, does buy them some goodwill. But it's another problem that you have with Vader. It's like you've got to use it sparingly, and you have to have it actually mean something. If you're just having him come back so that you could go, hey, is that Hayden? Is he playing Anakin? That's not going to help you. You gotta use it sparingly, and it has to mean something.
Andy, I think we're down to this being it. Like they've burned every other character. I guess you could go back to Luke after he drops off Grogu, but that takes us back to the sequels. Like I think you gotta revamp this thing. You've got to retcon it, and you got to do it with Hayden, and that's all they have. There's nothing else to get excited about.
I don't know that they've got the talent to make it work anyway. They could put anything they wanted in there. Number one, yeah, the normies are with everybody else. Nobody likes the sequel trilogy. There's 10 people out there that like it, but they don't buy anything anyway. The way you would have to do something, I think, in good faith, that would, like as Lauren has discussed, separating that whole sequel trilogy thing, and then let it sit. Like, just let people get used to the idea that didn't kind of happen, and things are kind of going off in a different direction. And then, you know what? Go into a different era. Go to something that's other than this. Let the wound heal. Let people, like, I think the Starfighter show might actually be a pretty good attempt at something, because it's something we haven't seen yet. Everyone's tired of The Mandalorian. It's the same story over and over again. The man with no name. You had a chance to do one thing, send Grogu off with Luke, let him be a bounty hunter, but they couldn't do that because they were so afraid. And that's really the thing that Lucasfilm is, and Disney, as a matter of fact. They're afraid. They're afraid to take a chance, and they're afraid to mess up, and they're afraid to do anything that's going to could excite fans. George Lucas took chances. He made the movies that he wanted to make. Yeah, there's complaints about things like and his dialogue and stuff, but by and large, he made the movies he wanted to make. These people have no idea. They're running around. It's really summed up, oddly enough, by young Anakin in The Phantom Menace. Let's try spinning. That's a good trick. That's where they're at right now.
Now
that's
this
a nice
is pod
reference.
Racing.
Marv, Phil, you guys, whatever you want to add to this, I'm curious if you think this would work if they executed well, or are we even past that point now?
So, look, the one thing that up until now I thought that they had always done well at Disney was Vader. Whenever Vader appeared, he was always treated with reverence. He was never made to look weak. He always, he always pretty much looked strong. They had him wipe the floor with Reva.
Because they like villains, Marv. They actually like villains.
No, they don't.
Sorry, Marv.
They will not let villains be villains.
Okay, so, but now here's the thing. They don't want to do Vader anymore, very clearly, because to do it correctly, you have to AI James Earl Jones's voice over Hayden. And they showed us in Maul, they're not willing to do that right now. I don't know if it's the cost associated, wasn't enough for an animated show, or if they just thought they were going to get a lot of backlash from it from the anti-AI crowd. But Dave Filoni all of a sudden started saying, like, well, we wanted to treat it with reverence because, that's George's character. And I'm like, dude, you've used Vader a dozen times in the Disney canon. He goes, well, that's Vader though. He doesn't talk to you. He just comes at you. I'm like, my dude, he talked to Cal Kestis when he fought him. That dude was a buddy patroller. He didn't talk in the hallway scene in Rogue One. Cool, great. That was a phenomenal scene. Vader does talk though. They're afraid to use him right now. And it's very, very obvious. And so I think you will get Anakin, and I think you will get Anakin in the World Between Worlds kind of situation, but I don't think you will get Vader.
Vader's a diva.
Yeah, Vader likes to talk. Vader talks all the time.
Well, James Earl Jones is going to get his money's worth, right? His family, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, this feels like a Marvel thing. You know how Marvel has been down the drain, down the gutter for a while now, and they're like, okay, we need something to bring back the fans. So let's go ahead and bring back the Russos. Let's go and bring back RDJ, and we're gonna make our money back. And I do have a friend who is like a big Star Wars fan. He's like, all Lucas needs is like, well, at least like current Lucas, is one good, very, very good movie to bring back everyone. And I think this is their only hope, I guess, pun intended, right? So I don't know. I want them to succeed, but at this time, like I and a lot of other people have sort of don't care about Star Wars anymore. So we'll see what they do though. I think using Vader, it just feels like a last ditch effort, a Hail Mary kind of situation here. But let's see what happens.
I thought, Phil, that apathy had set in, and I've changed my mind. I think with Mandalorian Grogu, it is obvious to me, at least on this channel, it's what everybody wants us to talk about. It is all people want me to talk about right now. And people can say, well, you're doing too many Star Wars videos. It's Star Wars every day. Trust me, I look at the stats. I see where people are coming from. This is the only thing people want to talk about, and I accept it, right? Every other day, we're doing one story that's not Star Wars. And the reason for that is, I don't think people are apathetic. I think they're very, very angry. And while that may be a difficult place for Disney to be in, it also means that there is a chance, if they were willing to do the very hard thing, if they're willing to remove the cancer that has destroyed this, the Kathleen Kennedy, Rian Johnson subversion of expectations, you rip that out of this thing, and there's a chance. I'll tell you this. We've been running a poll, and at the time of recording, we're at 1,750 people, and we've had almost 400 vote in this poll. Can Star Wars return so long as the sequel trilogy exists? 89% say no. There you go, Disney. Lauren Wiz, final thoughts.
We're in the revenge phase now.
Revenge of the fandom.
Which is something I have not been able... I was looking into this. It's something I cannot find in economics, in any franchise, in any medium, where the fans are... Like, Star Wars used to be the cultural event. And now the cultural event is celebrating watching Star Wars burn.
Let me introduce you to Bud Light.
Well, that's... Okay.
That was a temporary thing. That was, but Bud Light had the ability to course correct. And I think the difference here is Bud Light, they changed quick enough. Star Wars, this is over 10 years now that we've been dealing with this. I think people want to see Disney in pain. And
Isn't it amazing?
I don't think they care.
Isn't it amazing that BP filled the Gulf of America with oil, polluted the whole thing, killed probably trillions of animals, like mucked up the whole thing, and people forgave BP quicker than they've forgiven Star Wars and Disney. It really says something when you're worse than BP.
I'd like to add one thing to what Wiz said. It's not just a year thing. It's a generation thing. They've damaged a generation of fans.
Yeah,
I would argue 2 generations of fans. But besides that, it's like, again, they've been at this for 14 years. We have told them repeatedly, over and over, we don't like this. We're telling you what we want. We're telling you what we don't want. And they continued to mock us and tell us we were a vocal minority and that really it was a cultural event and everybody just loved it. And we're pointing at the numbers and telling them, you're obviously lying. And they still say, well, you're interpreting the numbers wrong. That's what they're doing right now. They've killed it. And it's like, they have no excuse other than that we wanted to own you. It's like, guys, we've been trying to help you. as the customers for 14 years to tell you what we want in a product. And for some reason, you thought your job was to lecture us and tell us what we would accept. You thought somehow that you would be able to bulldoze over us and that the next generation would just blindly accept whatever slop you ladled into their mouth. And that has been proven false. You will die because you failed at generational capture. There's no way to get that back.
This is the economic maturity of if you went to McDonald's and they just loaded your burger with pickles. And you said, I don't want pickles. And they said, it doesn't matter. You love McDonald's so much, you'll eat it no matter what. Eat it, chud. It's like, yeah, it turns out people didn't have to eat the pickles, eh? Sorry, Star Wars, but you got a hard decision to make. Looks like Darth Vader is the only way they've figured out thus far they can save themselves. Folks, have you ever wanted to know what Pro looks like? I don't know why you would want to do that, but hey, why not stop on by? There's no cost, there's no payment. Just join us Wednesday night. We're going to be starting later than usual, 10 p.m. Wednesday night, live here. We turn the camera on, and forevermore after that, maybe I'll have a beard like Wizard. Wiz, where do I buy those things? Quick, I need it.
Maybe.
Would you recommend, should I do a fake beard, or would you say that in hindsight, it's an itchy, scratchy problem?
It is a terribly, I mean, I've just grown accustomed to the pain of wearing this thing. It tickles your nose. It irritates your face. I just, what I do for you, the people.
And what you don't know, folks, is behind the beard is just pure rash at this point.
I have two questions about it, because I have seen you drink with that thing on your face. And the first question is, does it present difficulties when trying to do so? And the second is, has it ever actually started to come off when you pulled the drink away?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've made quite a few mistakes on this show. I've made mistakes.
Regrettable mistakes.
People think that's another beard underneath the fake beard. It's not, guys. It's a rash. It's crust.
Yeah. This is all just a rash.
I did do and say horrible, regrettable things.
Now, that said, Wiz, we need to be kind to you. Your time is important, and you've got to get out of here. So, Wiz, tell the folks out there what you're up to and why they should have been subscribed, like, I don't know, 2 months ago.
Well, come check us out on Fake Wizards Live, where we're streaming a lot more now, which is pretty cool. You know, we just had a great show, me and Marv, over on Culture Crossfire. And we'll be back Wednesday night and Thursday morning, so we're streaming all the time. But until then, I gotta bounce because I gotta break down my camera and pack.
Oh man, travel is on the way. Wiz, be safe tomorrow, and we'll catch you real soon, buddy.
All right, y'all. I'll see you later.
Later, Wiz. And as Wiz heads out the door, folks, we got to say a huge thank you and maybe even more because John is dropping in amazing 50 WDW Pro memberships. John, that is amazing. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate you so much. On a day that Star Wars is suffering, you lift us up.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down. And then Bob Iger is all like, no, what's going on with my stock? No.
Now, commence Operation Vacuum Suck. Suck.
A blindfolded half-court shot that is now the talk of campus and beyond.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? Did you see it?
Yeah.
Is that on tape?
Yeah.
You are kidding me.
Wow.
John, what a gift. And folks, if you received one of those gifted memberships, make sure to say thank you in the chat. It's the kind thing to do. Lauren, the generosity is flowing out there, and we're glowing because of it. But tell us, please, where are we at on the Super Chat goalometer?
I stopped counting because we hit the goal.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren has called it. Goal achieved. Q&A on the way. And what a night to do it at the end of the show today. All because, folks, you're the gigawatts.
You're the one who's out of this world, sweet baby. You're the one who's out of this world.
1.21 gigawatts!
1.21 gigawatts!
Detail Devil for 199, Power to the Niners, Mandalorian and Grogu, Ice Pirates versus Muppet Babies with 200 million and without style. Without style? Oh, there's going to be style if there's Muppet Babies. They make your dreams come true. Do we get the face reveal of Nanny too? That's what we need. Paul 12,000 for 5. Super Chat 20, 10 more to go, folks. Thank you, Paul.
That's
John
what it
for
takes to
5.
get me into a movie theater, by the way. It's, show me Nanny's face after all these years. And
I've had enough of the socks, darn it. John for 5, the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many.
The power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many.
Chuck with the save.
What if Nanny was just that gal from the Pee-wee movie that said, "Did it look like this?"
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not do that to Nanny.
It looked like this.
That's what I always
poor
imagined she did look like.
Maybe that's why Animal is the way he is. And that's why he can't speak. He just goes, yada, da, 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 or whatever it was he did back then. Wildfire for 5. I dislike Disney Star Wars, but I dislike retcons more. There has to be a way to fix it without retcons. Lorne, is there?
No. I don't think so, no.
People used to say there was the option that they could say Luke was faking it and being a hermit because he had to protect Grogu because he couldn't let him fall into the clutches of the New Order or First Order or whatever the heck of it is.
I guess the only argument I could make is it depends on whether you're talking about an explicit or an implicit retcon. You could do it without explicitly retconning by just allowing new continuity to paper over it over time. That's the basically starting back over around the end of Return of the Jedi and telling new stories and letting the new stories that contradict the stuff that they've already done take precedence. You could do that, but I think the smarter play would be to explicitly retcon it because you directly tell the audience this is what we're doing, and that's what the audience needs to hear.
And nobody is going to get into any kind of Luke Skywalker story if they think that at the end of it, Jake Skywalker is still waiting.
Nobody's going to get to Han Solo either if they think he's a deadbeat dad who gets thrown off a bridge. It doesn't work. The where they sent these heroes is so just demystifying. It's so they deconstructed these characters and turned them into lackluster losers that nobody would aspire to be.
Well, to be fair, at least it got rid of J.J. Abrams.
At least that mystery box fell with Han.
Movie. He has not made a movie since The Rise of Skywalker, and we're all better for it.
Did you guys know, though? Can we say this? I put this on the Patreon. Oh, this might turn into its own segment. I got to be careful. Guys, we can't go too far on this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Who was brought in to write the Rey movie that was supposed to be the defense of the sequel trilogy and attack the fans?
Damon Lindelof.
Who's he associated with?
J.J.
Abrams.
Anybody want to guess how that pairing happened up?
Gee, let me think. How did J.J. Abrams is like Sin from Final Fantasy X in that he's this monster descending on the land, but all of these smaller monsters fall off of him and wreak havoc wherever they land.
Lauren, what if I told you, Lauren, that according to my sources, the Rey movie was originally conceived as a way to save JJ's career and get him back into directing blockbusters?
Yeah, good luck. I would also mention that they did thank him in the end credits for The Mandalorian and Grogu as well.
He's a lovely guy. Robin, Tennessee for 2. Ha! Mike Tar made me think of Ishtar. Grogu Ishtar. Well, there you go. That's a bad joke. Cannon Barnes for 5 in Asian accent. Oh, now we're specifying.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Phil. No, I can't do this to you. Lauren, you do it in an Asian accent. Thank you.
Hey, go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, you do
Phil,
it, Lauren.
Phil, look at him.
My eyes are as wide as they can.
Phil, you're Asian, right?
That's the first time I've ever heard.
No. I'm not saying that he's. I'm
a little bit,
asking.
I think.
All right, so if you're Asian, I'll just do your voice. Hey, Wiz, do you want cheese with your rice wine?
Well, sounds authentic to me.
Did I find a technicality?
That doesn't sound like Phil. Hold on, yell at me like we're playing Mario Kart and say, "I hope your Asian wife poisons you." because that's a thing that Philip Chen has yelled at me while playing Mario Kart.
Holy cow!
Well, you shouldn't use all those blue shells.
It was the greatest night ever.
Oh, man, I felt so bad immediately afterwards.
So bad.
Oh, I loved that. My wife laughed at that.
Wilton's dad for 2. If Acolyte 2 happens, I will watch it too. We all will. We all will, because there's mockery to be made. England again for 2. End of Star Wars should be like Saint Elsewhere. That'd be a heck of a play. What was the movie? What was the movie where it was all a dream at the end? And he actually was married to the character from the show before it. What was that?
Well, you're talking about Newhart.
Oh, you're talking about
Newhart. Make a Newhart this thing. Stewie from Family Guy is actually a real character in Star Wars now. Oh, John, we want to say thank you again. We put it up there because, wow, what a friend you are to the channel. Thank you so much. And for 5, only James Earl Jones can save it at this point. And he's deceased. Well, he signed a contract. His voice is theirs. They're scared to use it now.
I'm telling you, it's either they don't want to pay his family or they're afraid of the AI backlash.
They're weenies. That's what they are. They're weenies. Sephiroth for 5. If you all want something funny to watch, the 2 Ronnie sketch, The Worm That Turned. It's 8 parts, but it's the UK if something doesn't change soon. Oh, the UK is in desperate need of help, and we are here to dose out the medicine it needs. Folks, because we know so many of our friends in the UK can't say what they mean anymore. Bruce Newhouse for $4.99. Use a time travel technique to reset the Star Wars universe, preferably a DeLorean or a hot tub. What is it, 88? Do we have to go 88 miles an hour? I think with the Holdo maneuver, we can do that. Maybe we can just Holdo maneuver the whole sequel trilogy. That seems like a great idea.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
John for 5, no idea what the 2 Ronnies are, but I love the arc of the UK trying to put down ideas only to create the idea of Amelia. The first, by the way, I would say the first AI celebrity. Despite the efforts to make one, synthetically and not organically, Amelia is the real first AI celeb. Kim MCW111 for $5. No message, but if you'll send it and let our mods know what you intended to say, we'll get it up on the screen. If you just wanted to send 5 to be kind, we appreciate it. But again, send our mods the message you wanted if you did, and we'll get it for you. Wilton's dad for 5. Lucasfilm doesn't have the writers to fix this. World Between Worlds has to be done right. No one wants Vader again. I'm up for Vader again if it's done very, very, very well. I'm never going to say never.
I agree with Lauren. Like Lauren and I have been talking about this for a couple of weeks. The Maul show really turned me off of the idea of a Vader show.
10-4 on that. 10-4 on that. Satire Station for 10 says it's absolutely insane that The Mandalorian and Grogu, a Star Wars movie, could potentially make less than Pixar's Hoppers.
Oh, that's a good one to track it with.
Yeah. What is the number for Hoppers?
Could you imagine if the Beaver movie actually ends up making more than Mandalorian and Grogu?
I'm looking it up right now. What did Hoppers end up at? Hoppers. Oh my gosh, this is actually a contest. Hoppers is 385. According to our projections, it's likely to beat The Mandalorian and Grogu.
That'd be something.
Holy cow.
And Hoppers was a flop. So.
Holy cow. I had not put it in that perspective. Well,
I bet you it doesn't
show
even beat
over.
Hoppers.
Get out of here, everybody. Satire Station wins the night. I had not put that together. Marv's article. Let's go.
Yeah.
That is woof. Woof, woof. All right, folks, we got lots of super chats. We'll come back to them. We promise. I do apologize. I know we need to get all of them, and we will, but we have so much to cover tonight. We're working hard to do it for you, so hang tight, and let's dive into the next story. We are going to be talking about, next up, the situation with the FCC and Disney. Turns out there's a major attack right now from the feds against the House of Mouse, and Disney, I'm not sure, was prepared for this thing. Has to do with The View, and can you believe it? Maybe even Craig Ferguson, too. No more games. The FCC is coming after ABC News and The View. This from thatparkplace.com by Marvin Montanaro, who I believe is on the panel right now. Marv, you wrote this one, right, eh?
I did. Yeah.
All right.
I've been writing about The View quite a bit lately, and my mental health has suffered because of it.
I do apologize. We'll try to get you the counseling you need. The Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, has officially opened the floor for public comment on a question that is suddenly becoming uncomfortable for Disney and ABC. Is The View actually a legitimate news program, Or is it simply a daytime opinion show masquerading as one? The proceeding announced by FCC Chairman Brendan Carr asks whether ABC's long-running daytime panel series should continue receiving an exemption from federal equal time requirements typically granted to bona fide news interview programs. Marv, walk us through this. We've covered the FCC in great detail, and every day there's something else that comes out about this. Tell us what it is, and also, where are we at in terms of like the ramifications for Disney? Are we in the billions of dollars in danger for the House of Mouse? What do we have here?
So the federal government is making the case that The View should not qualify as bona fide news because it is so wildly partisan and it is essentially at this point a propaganda machine. And The View was given bona fide news status in 2002. At the time, The View was a much better, or not better, well, yes, better, but The View was a much different show. There was more discussion. There were actual conservative panelists on there. There was more back and forth. Both sides of a specific argument would get a viewpoint on there. Well, now they're saying this is not bona fide news anymore. It doesn't count. So we want to take away their exemption because that would mean that they are that they would fall under equal time rules, which means if you have a political candidate on, you would then have to grant equal time to the opposition. And that started after that. I forget the guy's name. That one Texas candidate who Colbert was propping up, and then The View had him on. So yeah, that's kind of where it's at now. I think it's more of just kind of changing the way The View does things. What would really cause Disney a whole lot of grief is if they pull their broadcast licenses. That would be catastrophic for them. But right now, the issue with The View is just kind of changing the way The View operates. In a sense. So now what they're doing is the next phase of this is they are asking the public, what do you think? Is The View bona fide news, or is this just a propaganda machine that's dressed up like a news program?
Now,
if you remember, Pro, they had Anthony Weiner on and praised him.
What really drives this home, too, is that The View seems to always be operating in the exact opposite way from what Disney needs at the time. So they're now facing the FCC's fury. And at the same time, The View hosts Craig Ferguson, who is hilarious and who probably should have been one of the late night guys instead of, well, Stephen Colbert. But Craig Ferguson didn't bring Jeff, but he's there, and they attempt to force him into politics over and over and over in an insidious way that gives away this is not news. This is propaganda. This is from one particular viewpoint without any semblance of neutrality. And here's The View. And here watches Craig Ferguson manages to dodge these ladies and outmaneuver them. And it's frankly, folks, it's like watching a lab rat dance around a country mouse who's never approached anything with intellect whatsoever. This guy has an IQ of 140 and he's faced off against the 80s. Here we go.
So Craig, your tour is called Pants on Fire. Is there a lot of material about Trump in it?
There's no material at all in it. It's basically
why
me
is it
talking.
Pants on Fire?
Because what happens is, in my culture, we start telling stories. You tell a story once, and then the next time you tell it, maybe you add a little more, make it more interesting. Yeah. So if you're on a tour, a story that's true at the first part of the tour, the time you get 10 dates in, there's not a word of truth in the story. It's a pack of lies. So I figured if I just tell everyone I'm going to tell a pack of lies right away, then up front, everybody knows.
Okay, so he manages to outplay them, right? They're attempting to turn this into an anti-Trump screed, which is what they do every single time, while at the same time the FCC's after them.
These hags are obsessed. Like, they are 100% obsessed with this. My goodness. He's on there to promote a comedy show, and they're trying to make it about Trump. This is disgusting, and he elegantly sidestepped that.
Right, and then they come back to it. We'll back it up just a second so we get the context. They don't let it go. They're determined, which, remember, folks, what is the FCC worried about? The FCC is asking you, is this news or is this propaganda? Is it just nonstop TDS? Here's their best attempt, number 2, to get Craig Ferguson to dive in with them, because he's a late night guy, but he's the right kind of late night guy, the kind who didn't get the job and should have.
Everybody knows.
So there's no politics in your show?
I don't talk about politics at all. Well, the reason I have it is...
funny. Right.
Well, there's that. And also, the thing is, when you have a mustache, you have you know this.
I do.
You have a responsibility. to be charming. And because, you got to be charming if you have a mustache. So the reason why I don't talk, I'm sick of people that I agree with, never mind people I don't agree with. I'm just like, let's take an hour and a half, I'll go on stage, I'll tell you a bunch of jokes and do some stuff and tell some stories. And at the end of it, all the stuff that you're angry about is still there. You can have it back. I'm not taking it from you. But my job is just to, And also, it was a choice that I made for myself, like a stylistic choice. Like, could I do it? Could I fill a whole show with no politics? And turns out I can.
Turns out it's easy. These women, just recently, Sunny Hostin and Joy Behar went on a vile rant a few days ago where they tried to tell Americans struggling with diseases that they shouldn't take cheaper medications because the Trump RX has Trump's name on it.
That's right.
They were trying to insinuate that Trump is somehow involved in the manufacturing of these medications, and their own co-hosts, who are usually in alignment with them, were like, "No, it's a marketplace. They're not involved in that," and they wouldn't hear it. They were like, "You're so naive."
Listen, they are doing no favors to Disney whatsoever. Every day, they put their finger in the eye of the mouse, and they say, we'll burn the house down. Whatever. If you lose these ABC stations, which is what's a possibility. If you lose these ABC stations in New York and Los Angeles, who cares? We're the ladies of The View. Screw you. Phil, we're at the point where it's just silly. And yet Disney they never make a change. They never do anything about it. And it could cost them big time. They're going to screech. They're going to cry. They're going to say, oh, well, this is our freedom of speech being taken away. But in the end, it's really the fact that they don't know the difference between news and just screwing around with people and blasting one side of the political aisle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these crazy swamp hags that have nothing better to do they just freaking hate Trump, and that's all they're trying to do. Like every woman who's like a housewife, right, or people who are just staying at home watching, they're gonna watch The View. It's like, okay, I'm gonna hear a bunch of these swamp hags tell me how to think. Tell me what to do. And they tried to do this with like Arnold as well, right? When he was here, he was talking about like the whole thing of like freedom and stuff like that, and talking about immigration. Like, they're trying to sort of like, hey, don't you mean this? No, I'm talking about like legal stuff. So they try to like cut him off. Like that. We're gonna go to commercial immediately. It's because they're not. He's not towing the propaganda that they're trying to force him to say. So I think, they're not news. There's just a talk show, and they just so happen to talk about politics. And now everything is about politics now.
That's right. Well, they would hate for the public to believe that. That's what the FCC is inquiring right now. How is it perceived by the public? And that's to get one more part of the metric together, one more part of the rubric together for the FCC's case against Disney. Andy, I want to go to you on this one in regards to Craig Ferguson. Craig Ferguson is doing it the way we used to do it, like for decades. The Johnny Carson way, the Jay Leno way. Maybe not the Letterman way, especially towards the end. But he's the Conan O'Brien of when Conan was on TV. Craig Ferguson knows his job is not to sit in the cesspit. He's not supposed to be in the sewer of politics. He's supposed to make as many people laugh and have a good time and set that aside for the 90 minutes or 2 hours they're with him. And it's brilliant. It's what we all want and desire.
Those clips where Craig Ferguson very cleverly will flirt with the young ladies that were on his show. Obviously not this one, because that would just be scary.
Oh God, easy now.
It's very typical though of the language thing that they do, where they take a word and they make it the opposite, and they try to push that thing so that it's like, like Social Security is not secure, all that stuff. Like you got Whoopi and Sunny and Joy, and they're anything but. Like, there's nothing joyful about Joy Behar, and there's nothing sunny about Sunny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg. He is in an interesting position, because he's one of the few guys out there that you've seen the decline of comedy, because, and I've had friends on the left, or the liberal side, I should say how the whole thing with Trump since 2015 has killed comedy, because it's here we go again with yet another Trump joke. Everybody's tired of it. And he's doing exactly the right thing, going in there to try to make comedy funny again. Find things that everybody can relate to, common, ordinary things. That's why the Jeff Foxworthy had that tour for so long, and it was so successful, and it was just about like the common sense kind of approach. He understands that you have to de-escalate this thing. You have to draw it back from this political lens, but they're fighting it the whole way. It's like it's the crabs. When one tries to escape out of the bucket, the other one's pulled them back in. That's exactly what these crabby ladies are.
That is a great metaphor.
That is a really good metaphor. Like, what's happening here? What he's describing, where he's just like, oh, you can have your you can have your problems back, the things that make you angry when you leave, but I'm gonna make you forget about it for a little bit. He's describing comedy to them as if they're preschoolers. Like,
this is also what sports used to be.
Concept of comedy.
This is what sports used to be as well, Marv. It's what going to movies used to be. You used to be able to say, hey, I disagree with you about politics, but who cares? You want to go watch a movie together? And people could do that. You could be friends with people across the aisle. We've let politics metastasize, and this is why the FCC is now looking at Disney and saying, we can't tell the difference anymore in your news, your opinion, anything. We don't know what it is. And there's actually rules about this up for network TV because you're borrowing the network airwaves that the public gives you, so you have to actually edify the civilization, the society in some way. This doesn't do it. This doesn't do it.
If these hens cluck any louder, Lauren will try to fricassee them.
Hens and crabs. I don't know which one to go to with Lauren. Lauren, you take the choice. Crabs and hens, chickens and crustaceans. Which one do you want to go with?
I'm going to refrain from making the obvious joke, but if there's chicken to be slaughtered, breaded, and fried, I'm there.
Folks, for those of you who don't know, Lauren is a great lover of chicken. He loves every way you can cook a chicken, and he would never cook a lady from The View. That's the opposite of what he would do. He would leave them alone. 10-foot rule. Fair, Lauren?
Sure.
I think I figured out how to fix The View.
No, you didn't. There's no way.
You install a balcony and just have Statler and Waldorf heckle them for the entire thing. Whoopee! That's what we say after the show ends.
Ratings would double, which really I think says something about where the ratings are today. For those of you who don't know, The View, despite all the bluster, it's tripled in ratings by The Price is Right. Every single day, sometimes quadrupled. But hey, that's why they call it news, because if they declare it a news show, it's the #1 news show in daytime network TV, watched mostly by women in days that end, of course, with Y. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I always ask myself why. Why do we have to cover The View? Well, because people care. People care about Whoopi and Sonny, and we're trying to save them, darn it.
People really care. I've seen the numbers on the articles we do on The View, guys. People actually do care about this.
Never argue with the audience. That's one of the main rules. When people say, what do we do on the pro show? What do we do, with thatparkplace.com? Never argue with the audience.
They keep saying stupid things. I had to write about Sonny Hostin calling for an Andor-style revolution the other day. Like, they just keep saying the dumbest things.
One of the topics I'm thinking that we're going to cover soon is outside of the normal wheelhouse. We're going to cover Pizza Hut. I think people are actually interested in bringing back the Pizza Hut, but also the things we've had in the 80s and 90s taken from us. We did this with Cracker Barrel. People said, why are you covering Cracker Barrel? We had a YouTube rep said, what are you doing? And I said, people care about Cracker Barrel. Well, I'm not going to argue with what people care about. I'm going to step into that conversation and try to edify and bring it to an intellectual level, but also having a good time. And I think Pizza Hut's the next thing. The View, unfortunately, is what we have to do too.
Well, so with Pizza Hut, I mean, they're opening up these like classic, like 90s, Pizza Hut locations again. People are driving hours to go to them to get those red cups.
Yeah, and people are saying, why can't I have the McDonald's that I had back in the day? Why did all that have to go away? Why did we switch to every place looks the same and it's it's modern and it's crisp, but it also has no atmosphere. People want to go back. They want to have differentiation.
Everything is Target now.
That's right. Everything is brutalist. Folks, it turns out that those restaurant chains and Ladies of the View and Star Wars, they might not be loyal, but you are, and we appreciate you.
Commander Cody, the time has Now they're coming in too hot. I deflected every blaster just to keep you in the mix. When did y'all start playing? Hit me with that 66. Got my 5 first boys with my day one shooters. I have had it with these motherfucking dancing clone troopers. These clones ain't loyal. Felt it when my homies died. Clones ain't loyal. Watch my boy Kiadi Monday die. These clones ain't loyal. There ain't nowhere for you to hide. Clones ain't loyal. The chosen one, crispy and fried.
And just like that, it's back to Super Chats. Folks, the superstars are on the screen. England DG for 2 just makes Star Wars, Scourge of the Pride Lands. Simba, do not go to Star Wars. That wasn't a very good Mufasa. I can do better than that. Next time, Just Jay is out there for 5. I agree with Lorne. To do a Vader film, they need to play off the perspective of the people scared of him, like the Rogue One hallway scene.
But even that you've got to be careful with, because the more you show him, the less of a boogeyman that he becomes, and the greater your chance that you'll screw him up. I think they have used Vader about as much as they should, and I don't think they should probably be putting him on the screen much more.
We've got England DG for 2. A feminist property won't use a guy named Father. Maybe not. We'll see. John for 5. No, the Gen X of us are not apathetic. We are angry. We hate the current franchise. And that is where it lies right now. Chef Eddie for 5. In the past, Sherlock Holmes fans were so upset with his death that Doyle was forced to bring him back. And that might be the parallel we see.
A character that he himself hated, which kind of, I think, is very similar to the position that they're in right now. They desperately don't want to do this, but it's the only thing that they can do if they want to revive this.
Well, they can get fired. I mean, I think at this point, Disney executives are going to be like, fix it or be fired. Make your pick. But, playing around with this is over. Detailed Delver for 199, Power to the Niners. More Ahsoka. No Gina, but more Hayden? No. I think Gina's Gina's a possibility on a comeback. Anything's on the table.
I think Gina has to be willing to come back, and we'll see if she is.
Hey, listen, the amount of money they should offer her would be in the crazy territory. Jason Nelson for 2. On movies, Any Chance Tomorrow differs from Iger. Well, I bet he doesn't watch all of them 5 times or pretend that he watches them 5 times. To give you a serious answer, we don't know on Tomorrow when it comes to movies yet. And we really didn't know with Bob Iger, because Bob Iger praised everything, no matter how awful it was or how good it was. It was all the same from Bob. It's the greatest movie ever. It's the greatest quarter we've ever had. It's going to be, all the same. John for 5. Even Doyle had to resurrect Holmes at Reichenbach. Have I got that right? Reichenbach Falls? When fans complained enough. We've got Kim MCW111 for $5. No, paid $5 to say Hayden is the worst actor of all time. Maybe they make another Haunted Mansion too. I'll pass on the Haunted Mansion movie. I think I'll pass on that one.
Yeah, no.
Grinning ghosts come out to socialize.
That is a property that is a great theme park attraction, and they need to just stop trying to adapt it to movies, because it doesn't work.
Yeah. Kid haunted house movies are hard to do.
The closest they've ever come is the Muppets one.
Yeah, well,
Haunted Mansion, that wasn't bad.
Not Haunted Mansion, but in terms of haunted houses, I would say Casper's as close as they've got to a haunted house kids movie that's okay. It's really hard to do. Synth X 88 for $5. Disney, bite the bullet, pays on, adapt Heir to the Empire. Thrawn and Mara Jade saved Star Wars once. Let them do it again.
Yeah, they'll never do that. They should, but they never will, because it's got to be Filoni. Filoni's got to be the guy writing the story, because Star Wars belongs to him now.
That's right. And Synth, if you have been a longtime follower of the channel, you may have heard us say we've talked to Timothy Zahn in the past, and they did not reach out to him. So I don't know if they missed their chance, but they didn't treat him well. Shame. Michael Steele for 5. When I bought the Millennium Falcon Special Edition Lego, I threw that stupid square dish from the sequels in my extra parts bin. never to be seen again.
My hero. But you can use that extra part as the Rectenna dish for a CR90 if you happen to have one.
Hey, have they replaced the dish on the Millennium Falcon in Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland? If Han, Luke, and Leia are around it?
I think it's still there.
They really need to replace that if they've changed what,
Dump the dish. John for 5, best Asian bad joke I ever saw was when Bobby thought that Koreans never had slaves. Then was informed that Koreans had slaves for, 2,400 years.
Everyone, every people on the planet did that at some point.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is that when it comes to that sort of thing, if you go back far enough in time, slavery exists in a world where anybody has voluntary choice. If you go back far enough, you'll get to the point where almost nobody has any voluntary choice, right? Because you get into, the farther back in history you go, it turns out the more brutal things tend to get. And so there you go. There you go. We've got England AG for 2. My wife wouldn't like if I went 88 miles per hour in a hot tub. I suppose it would depend on if she's there. Kim MCW111 for $2. Hayden can act as well as I can send super chats.
Can I just say, in defense of Hayden Christensen, he did not have great dialogue to work with. He was a young actor with a terrible script about sand and all that other stuff, and the only direction that he was being given was faster and more intense.
Yeah, good luck with that. But the other thing, too, is that he didn't have the Harrison Ford cachet and sway to walk up to George Lucas and say, "This is not English. You can't expect us to read this. I'm not going to say it." So, Harrison Ford just walked up to George Lucas in the originals and said, what do you want us to do, man?
Yeah,
what do you want us to do?
Well, because George was a young director when he made when he made the original Star Wars. He was George Lucas in the prequels. You weren't saying anything to him.
What was the quote there, Lauren? What was it that Harrison Ford said?
You cleaned it up well enough that it could be said on broadcast. I was going to compliment you on how you did that because you got the gist across. Yeah.
He basically told George people don't speak this way, but in very colorful language.
Yeah.
We got John for 10. Craig Ferguson was amazing, is amazing. Even in the era of Me Too, he managed to dodge all of the MO and flirt with hot interviewees at the same time. I would recommend, folks, if you've not seen Craig Ferguson's latest stand-up routine, you got to go watch it. It's great. It's so funny. Paggy Protons for 5. Craig is based. Sadly, Josh R. Thompson might be woke based on a few Facebook posts. Don't know. We've got Wolverines. N-I-K-K-T.
Wolverine snicked.
It's the sound it makes when his
yeah.
claws come
out.
It's Wolverine snicked.
That's okay, because that's how they write it in the comics.
Mm-hmm. It's the
How would we do that? I can't make the sound. Okay, anyway, paying it forward. Thank you, Wolverine. Thank you. We appreciate you. Paul 12,000 for 2. Sister Act Star is now a phony Act Star. Not news. And then would you look at that, folks? We've got 5 gifted memberships from Wolverine himself. Thank you, Bob.
You egg-sucking piece of gutter trash. We need rest. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised.
This is the only time we'll ever play the Wolverine clip and it not be used as an insult. This is actually for you, Wolverine, because it's the only Wolverine clip we have. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. John is out there for 5. Craig asked hot women embarrassing questions, and they blushed and answered them.
Yeah, Howard Stern made a career out of doing that, too. So now he pretends he didn't.
England DG for 5. I just want them to bring Ted Danson on in full costume and give Whoopi a kiss. Hey, listen, I'm a big Ted Danson fan. Bring Ted Danson on. That'd be cool. Go for it. Sure. Cheers to that. We've got John for 5. Pizza the Hut. Oh, no. This is a terrible cross promo, but they should do it. Pizza the Hut. Yes, folks want the red cups. That thick, juicy, yeasty crust. Look at Lord. Oh, Lord. He wants the chicken. Kayla for 5. Cracker Barrel update. $32.39 last. $71.93 52 week. I'm still rather salty and may require order 686 be executed. I want my stock price back. Yeah, we may go back and cover Cracker Barrel. There was a chance for us to cover Jaguar again, and I chose not to, but the Jaguar update was they've lost 99% of their profits.
Oh.
And, you know, one of the reasons you want to do a story like that is because that's a heck of a headline. But, you know, we got this thing called Star Wars happening, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. But both of those stories are on the list. England for 5, watching with my wife. You started playing the Order 66 short just now, and my daughter and wife's belly, Little Potato, started dancing. Oh, May.
Aww.
Hee. Well, wonderful, wonderful. There you go. What good taste in music already forming.
These clones ain't loyal.
England EG for 5, watching with my wife. Kid in her wait a minute. I just read that one. And you sent it again? England EG. You get a freebie. Send us another one if you'd like, and we'll read it too. Detailed Devil for 199, paid for boba. Tickets at order number 66. I masticated it. I chewed that boba.
Did you ever see the thing where the after the final recording of the Clone Wars, the cast all went out to Burger King and like made a big order together, and the receipt was Order 66?
That would be great.
That's a real, like Ashley
That's
Eckstein
cool.
shared the picture of the receipt. It was 100% a real thing that happened.
Very, very cool. Rowan of Strata for 5. If you want to see Hayden act, that scene where he and Natalie are silent, thinking about what they're going to do during Revenge of the Sith. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
Metalcore Breakdown for 199. The view equals the dark side of the Force. And we've got England EG back for 2. Gwennon says there are 5 lights.
Guinan, you Philistine.
I would never say that. That sounds too much like a medical profession. We're not that moist here, Lauren. And then we have England EG for 2. Ted Danson joke fell flat. It's a bit dark. Cheers again. I'll keep going with the same dad joke over and over and over. All right, folks, we've got one more story. I'm going to give the panel the choice because I had intended to do 5 tonight. But we got to wrap up on this next story, and so I'm going to give the panel the option of which one we want to do. Here are the 2 options, gentlemans, and then I will send the next one that we don't choose to the show tomorrow. Give everybody something to look forward to, which, by the way, tomorrow's show will be the last time I'm not on camera. Interesting indeed. Guys, we can either do the Mandalorian Millennium Falcon ride. We'll do a deep dive into just how much it dropped in terms of wait times and people caring about it. Or we could talk about He-Man, Masters of the Universe, and why it just might wipe out the box office of the Mandalorian and Grogu. Which way do we go?
Go with He-Man.
Yep.
Which way?
He-Man, Phil? He-Man. Everybody's He-Man?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, in that case, folks, before we hit He-Man, I just want to say, too, you got to get over there and subscribe today to Philip Chan. Philip, would you be so kind as to share with the folks out there what it is you do on the YouTubes?
Yeah. So I typically just talk about like pop culture. Sometimes it leans into politics because it usually does. And then talk about video game news and just play video games on my channel. And on Saturday, we have this thing called Project Egg Roll, where we just talk about pop culture with a friend of mine in the Philippines.
Awesome, folks.
He's also a great Twitter. He's a great Twitter follow too, because he just yells at people.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. Phil, you haven't yelled at all here on the show today. What do we need to do to get you jazzed up? What do we got to do? You need a Red Bull.
Seriously, typically if I want an Asian to yell at me the way Phil does, I have to read a magazine in a convenience store.
Oh boy, Marv's trying. He's trying. I don't know that it's going to work, but he's trying. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Trying to be nice.
Being nice is all right. Well, folks, I tell you what. Here we go. Let's talk He-Man. And why? Why do we save this for the final one? The panel says so, and also because I have the power. Well, talk about a bad way for Star Wars to go. It looks like Mando and Grogu could be running up into a major problem, and it might not even matter how He-Man does at the box office. Now, for those who don't know, He-Man, Masters of the Universe comes out June 4th. That's when the previews start. And that's also when it takes away all of those yummy IMAX and PLF screens that give Mando the kind of ticket prices that sustain it. Without it, they're in trouble. Forbes, Caroline Reed writing this, why He-Man needs to muscle his way to $80 million. And it's very fascinating that Amazon doesn't need a huge intake for this film to be successful. Now, they need more than 80 million. But Caroline goes through in this Forbes article that they're pretty confident that they're going to do okay. And that's interesting to me It says the trailers show that Eternia was once a vibrant alien-like world with multicolored forests, massive mountains, and fortresses with towering faces carved in their entrances. Like Asgard, it descends into chaos while He-Man is on Earth, so he has to put his powers to use to defend it. He even shares Thor's sidekick in the form of Elba, who plays Man-at-Arms in Masters of the Universe, and Heimdall in the Marvel movies. In other words, there are a lot of parallels here with Masters of the Universe. Now, if we go down, it says, it talks about how much the net spend is on this. $40.3 million is the net spend here, but it probably is actually significantly higher, and Caroline admits that as well. So it says an approximate 50-50 split means that Masters of the Universe needs to gross $80.6 million at the very least for Amazon to cover its costs for production only, not advertising at the box office. The minimum threshold will, of course, need to rise in line with the cost of principal photography and post-production. But then she goes on to say what the real break-even is. Variety forecasts that the movie's total budget actually will end up at about $170 million, and if so, break-even would come at a gross of around $340 million, and I do believe that with Variety, we're including the marketing this time as well. So 340 is what it needs. 340 would put a serious dent in Mando and Grogu if this film comes out and performs that way. Why? Because it would need to get about $100 million at the opening weekend to have a chance to get to the 340 break even. Now, people said Amazon had no chance with Project Hail Mary, and look how that did. Maggie Lovett over at Collider says Masters of the Universe is officially doing what modern fantasy movies forgot how to do. And what is she talking about? All of the, and I love this effect, that's really cool. Collider, I don't brag on you ever. Do you see what they did with this? As you scroll down, it goes from having it be dingy like all the films we see currently to bright like the film is actually designed to be. This article is essentially one that talks about how movies are devoid of color, and Masters of the Universe, Amazon has determined that they're going to make this be vibrant and bold and colorful. And this actually plays into what we're interested in here. What we're interested in is the idea that this is going to take all the IMAXs, it's going to take all the PLFs, all the premium screens from Mando and Grogu, and it turns out that this may be an interesting choice to suddenly go bright and colorful and vivid, and that might really dig into Mando and Grogu and hurt it at the box office, because remember, Mando and Grogu essentially has 2 weekends, and then Masters of the Universe comes out, and then it's a big fight at the box office. Phil, I'm not a He-Man kind of guy, but I'm interested. If He-Man can even pull $50 million in its opening weekend, a lot of that's going to come from the premium screens, and that could be the thing that stops Mando and Grogu from reaching $400 million. It would be a huge embarrassment for the movie.
Oh, absolutely. I'm on the same boat as you. I'm not a big He-Man fan or anything like that, but I think that if we get a good word of mouth from people that we trust, the sources that we watch on the internet, because most of the time we don't really look at we don't actually trust the critics anymore. We just use them as an aggregate to see sort of what the general population thinks about the movie, right? Like, even though we still use Rotten Tomatoes, we don't actually use Rotten Tomatoes as an aggregate to see whether or not we're going to watch the movie. So if the people that we follow, people that we trust, say that, hey, the movie is good, people like you guys, you guys make articles and you guys watch the movie, like, I will lean into what your guys' thoughts, and then I'm like, okay, then I'll make an assessment whether or not I'm going to go watch a movie that I never really was a fan of as a kid. So I think that's what a lot of people are going to be doing now. The normies, on the other hand, they're going to use Rotten Tomatoes as an aggregate. I'm just wondering what the modern zeitgeist is, like, sort of the current day zeitgeist of how popular the IP is towards normies, right? So like me, I would be considered a normie. Am I interested in that? I guess some of the trailers look pretty interesting. If they lean into the campiness, the hokiness, and make it fun, I think a lot of people will enjoy it. And sort of like, okay, if it's not great writing, but it good popcorn movie, I think people will enjoy it. But I don't. That's just me. But do you guys think it's going to be good? I really do not know.
It depends on if it's woke or not.
Well,
Yes,
so
that's
here's
true.
the thing: this movie is its own worst enemy, because in the trailers they put out have been breathtaking. They've been really good, and then every time they put out something that looks good, somebody involved in this production opens their mouth and says something dumb. The first trailer came out, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, this actually might be good." And then all of a sudden the director was like, well, Skeletor is really the embodiment of toxic masculinity. And everybody was like, what?
That.
And then like they put out another trailer and everybody was like, all right, forget that. This trailer actually looks good. And then like the girl that plays Teela is like, well, Teela is really shaped by toxic masculinity throughout this movie. And everybody was like, what? And then it just keeps happening. And then they put out the final trailer and everybody was like, wow, that was really good. And then the first thing that came out, the co-owner of Discussing Film was like, the film really starts to hit when it really explores those themes of fragile masculinity and ego. And everybody was like, what? And like, here's the thing. I know what they're trying to say. When they say toxic masculinity, they're like, well, He-Man is positive masculinity and Skeletor is toxic masculinity. What they're trying to say is there's a good man and there's a bad man, and there's a difference between good men and bad men, but they're using the buzzwords to say it because they don't know how to actually speak to normal dudes. They only know how to speak in the lens of this progressive culture war nonsense zeitgeist that they've created.
And here's what has resulted in that, okay? The result of that is it's only tracking for domestic opening of 25 to 35 million. Now, again, for it to put a dent in Mandalorian and Grogu, it needs to make 50 million. And, even if it doesn't make good money, just taking away the IMAX is a problem for Disney. But 50 million is really what it needs to do for it to have a chance, I think, to dislodge Mando and Grogu and really put that into a solid, maybe even at that point, third place. We'll see. Cool. But what's interesting is that Project Hail Mary is an Amazon film that may give us an idea of where this is going. Project Hail Mary was only predicted to make 60 million. It ended up making more than 80 million. So there's a chance here. Andy, I want to go to you as a guy who follows this franchise, and I know that you love action figures, and this is a franchise that was built on the back of action figures. Andy, is there any chance, is there a fandom out there that's going to lift this up in the same way that Project Hail Mary found an audience? Is there a group out there that's just really waiting, if only it's not woke?
It's theirs to lose. There's been enough proof out there that shows what sells and what doesn't sell, what will actually kill your movie. And that those, as much as it tries to be pushed out there that it's a small minority of people that don't like this stuff, the population has spoken. Like, no one likes this. No one likes all the woke nonsense. And it's not about diversity. Diversity done right and not done for diversity's sake is great. Everybody's never had a problem with that. But when the visuals are great on this, Jared Leto's face is not in it, which is a selling point. It's theirs to lose. If they can just stick the landing and not shoot themselves in the foot, this will definitely derail Star Wars, because this is something that two generations haven't seen. So this is something that will get their attention because it's something different. You've seen The Mandalorian, you've seen Star Wars, you've seen all this stuff. This is something different for a lot of kids. If they do it right and they avoid all those bear traps along the way, it'll be great. And it'll be a good summer movie. Will it be fabulous? I don't know. We still have Jared Leto in it, so we'll see what happens. But it's got the potential.
I will say Jared Leto was all over the last trailer, and I actually really liked what he was doing.
Here's what I don't understand about the marketing here. This is beautiful. The HDR here is amazing. And I don't understand if their goal here is to make something that's vibrant and colorful, and it's not the muddy, dulled out, monochromatic crap that we've been suffering through now for a decade. If they're going for this complete reversal in how they present fantasy movies, why haven't they talked about that? Why are we talking about toxic masculinity instead of, hey, folks, you can actually see this movie. Would you like to see a movie again? We make it so you can see it.
So I've heard from people who have been who know people that have seen this, whether it be test screenings or the premiere, and they're all like, dude, no one has any idea where this is coming from. No one that has seen this movie is actually like, oh yeah, no, it's all over the place. They're like, no, I don't understand where they're getting toxic masculinity from, where they're getting fragile masculinity from. Like, everyone who sees this movie is like, there's none of that here. So I don't understand where it's coming from. It's just they're so bad at marketing to regular people. That's it.
One of the things I'm going to pay attention to, and we need to go ahead and prepare this. The most basic, silly argument is going to be, well, it didn't perform as much as Mandalorian and Grogu overall at the box office, therefore, it's a failure too. And we can't judge these two films by the same way, I don't think, because He-Man is not the franchise that Star Wars was. I think if Amazon can pull off anything approaching that 300 million mark, then they've revivified something that has been dormant now for a very, very long time. But I'm not sure that nuanced, conversation is going to come across to normies easily.
I do wonder one thing, though. Are they afraid in some way about that vocal minority going after them if they don't appear woke enough? Is that maybe why somebody comes out there and says, throws the monkey wrench in the plans?
I think it's to save the movie from the critics.
I actually think part of the reason that Nick maybe didn't get as built as, say, Dolph did is I think they're worried about it coming across as too masculine, because if it is popular and revivifies the idea of masculine men are great, that could be the pin that pops the balloon. So they've got to play it a little soft.
It all depends on how He-Man's portrayed. If he's just portrayed as a good masculine dude who does what's right and smiles and has a sense of humor and shows kindness and empathy to people, then great, awesome. But I mean, if it's go ahead.
You know what I think might actually make a difference in this movie in a weird kind of way? This is a movie where I think the soundtrack is actually going to be really important.
That's all you get on this channel of it.
Well, so the soundtrack, they've released 2 tracks from the soundtrack on Spotify. I listened to them the other day, and they're great. Really good.
If they use the original He-Man theme, and I mean just leave it alone, use the original He-Man theme when he does the transformation, that's going to make a difference. I'm looking at this thing a little bit like Flash Gordon. I think in a way it's like, I don't think you're going to have something like a Queen soundtrack, but if you have something that is thematically gets the audience going, I think it makes a difference.
Listen, if he raises the sword and it plays, don't stop me now, I'm totally fine with that. Go ahead, Marv.
What I heard kind of reminded me of Thor Ragnarok's soundtrack a little bit, with like a little bit of that 80s synth in there. But the last trailer literally had a clip from the cartoon in it. Like it started with a clip from the cartoon in the last trailer, which I thought was really interesting. And then the final joke in it was Teela asks him to lift like the ship so that she could like fix something on it, and he lifts it, and she has one of those moments where she's just looking at his muscles and is like humming, like one of those kinds of jokes. I'm like, oh, like heterosexual sexuality is okay again. Like that's interesting.
But
you mean like all the women that went to see Momoa and Hemsworth?
Yeah.
But then they did have to undercut it by saying, this is really heavy, so if you could just...
Yeah, he's like, this is pretty heavy.
I think they're soft pedaling that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, I thought that was him. I thought that was his "my eyes are up here" kind of thing.
Final question for you guys. How much does this hurt Mandalorian and Grogu? What are we going to get down to? If we go from 80 million was the 3-day, if it's at 80 million and it does a 50% drop, 40 million, and we would assume it would do something like a 50% drop again, it's going to be down at 20 million on its 3rd weekend, and it might go lower because of this.
I think that you're being very generous with a 50% drop. I think that you're looking at a 60+% drop 2nd weekend. I think it's going to have a pretty monumental drop. I don't think it's even in the conversation by the time He-Man comes out.
Oh man, see, I think the monumental drop happens the 3rd weekend. I think it's going to drop a fair bit for the 2nd, but I think the 3rd is going to be catastrophic.
I don't know. I don't think the 2nd week is going to have a respectable drop. I think it's going to be above 60%.
Lauren, I'll give you and Phil final thoughts on this one. Go ahead and wrap us out with the with Mando predictions for week 3, going up against Masters of the Universe.
I already told you I thought they're going to close out at 315. I think that Marv's right. They're going to have a pretty steep drop coming up this weekend. I think that families that wanted to go see it have gone to see it. And the word of mouth is positive for those families with kids. You might get some additional business because of that, but my guess is anybody with families like that already saw it, so I think the drop's going to be steeper than you would expect.
Yeah, Phil, what say you?
Yeah, I agree. I think that the drop is going to hit very, very hard in the third week. And like Lauren said, like if people who really, really wanted to watch, they would have seen it already, especially with this Memorial weekend.
I don't think it'll happen, by the way, but wouldn't it be amazing if Nate Bargatze knocks them off the top with his Mr. Mom movie this weekend?
Let's see. We'll have to look up. We'll come back to that in another segment, folks. We need to look at that and see what's the likelihood. I don't think it's a high likelihood, but
I don't think it will. But it would be great if Nate Bargatze, just like a solidly nice man, like knocks off Disney Star Wars.
How interesting that would be. All right, folks, we hit the Super Chat goal and exceeded it by more than a little bit. And that means it is time to do the Q&A session. Lauren, have you been grabbing those Q&As for us?
Yes, but thanks for telling me beforehand. How many of these do you want me to actually star?
Let's do 12. And while you star the 12, I will grab the Super Chats. Here we go, folks. Doge Pal for 2 surely can't be worse than the awful She-Ra reboot. No, it will not be worse. I promise. There's no way. England for 5 bought 9200 lighting lane to make sure Kathleen Kenhardy gets her golden parachute. Credit ruined, but worth it. They didn't even send me a cupcake. You deserved the cupcake. John for 5 will ask my 16-year-old daughter. She may or may not be into it. She loved Mario. Woohoo! And we've got Detailed Devil for 199. Anime Kill Blue equals Crackshot. Neo Brain YouTube for theme song. Thank you so much, Detailed Devil. And folks, check it out. Check it out. All right, let's get to the Q&As, and we'll take these one at a time. Here we go. Lauren, shall you read them, please?
I'm still marking.
In that case, I'll read them for you. Kate Canaveral. Once you have a story that's uplifting and not dark deconstruction dreck, what's a good way to get public awareness of it without spending money you don't have in ads? May have asked this before.
You can't. You have to spend money on ads.
Yep, there is.
Unfortunately, that's kind of the long and short of it. Like if you have a book out or something like that, there are things you can do. Like there are like Facebook groups you can join that like sometimes they'll do like takeovers where you get to promote your book. But typically, even then, there's some kind of monetary investment that you have to make. Amazon is a very crowded marketplace right now, and getting noticed is not easy. So yeah, you kind of have to spend money to make money, unfortunately.
Yep. Good timing, and the quality must be absolutely phenomenal. We've got O2RR. What are your favorite pizza toppings? Lauren, we begin with you, but it's chicken.
Actually, I like a Hawaiian, but I like it with jalapenos as well, and I actually put taco sauce on it usually, too.
That sounds pretty good, actually. Marv?
At Blaze Pizza, I order something I like to call the Marv. It is a high-rise dough pizza with all the cheeses except for the vegan cheese, plus pepperoni, ground beef, sausage, onion, pineapple, and then you finish it off with a barbecue sauce glaze. Also white and red sauces mixed together. They know me at Blaze Pizza.
Phil, what's your go-to?
Yeah, if I'm just eating by myself and not sharing with anyone, I would add pineapple to my pizza. I'm a pineapple on pizza guy. I do like me some good mushrooms. So I like mushrooms, Italian sausage, pineapple, or even like a Hawaiian or barbecue chicken. Like from I know that CPK here in California, they have this a Hawaiian barbecue chicken and add pineapple on top of that.
Sounds great as well. Andy, what are you going with?
For a regular pizza, pepperoni and sausage, but around here in the Philly area, we get steak stromboli. So you get Philly cheesesteak meat, pizza sauce and cheese, and you wrap it up in a pizza shell in a big ball, and it's to die for.
Sounds wonderful. If I want to be unhealthy, I'm going to go with a deep dish supreme, and if I want to be healthy, I'm going to go with anchovies, black olives, feta, mushrooms, and onions.
What was that Joe Rogan pizza that you tried to give me a bash that one time?
So Joe Rogan,
nastiest thing.
Joe Rogan told Elon on their live stream, and then ordered it and had it delivered during their podcast, double anchovy, double pineapple. And we got that. We ordered that for a pro retreat.
the
was
most
terrible.
disgusting thing.
And it stunk.
Then like it stunk so bad, and we tried to throw it out, and they were like, it just stinks everywhere now. Like this,
Double anchovy, double pineapple was Joe Rogan's favorite pizza, and it is both too salty and too sweet at the same time.
Yep.
Donovan is out there. Do you think Disney board is capable of clearing all of Lucasfilm to fix Star Wars and Indiana Jones? No. Not as currently constituted. I don't think that they have to clear all of Lucasfilm, just 80%. We'll round up. Yeah, all of them. BlinkCon, do you think there will be layoffs at Lucasfilm just like when DeMauro gutted Marvel Studios? Well, DeMauro hasn't necessarily gutted Marvel Studios either. But I do think there will be layoffs at Lucasfilm, yes. I suspect in the next months ahead, it will be very likely we get layoffs at Lucasfilm. Lauren, you think it goes any other way?
I think it'd be hard to. I think they're hurting, and I think that they're tightening the screws at upper management to say, you're going to fix this one way or another.
There you go. Barry the Music Man, best soundtrack for you all, and correct answer is heavy metal. Oh, okay, so just overall best soundtrack.
The best answer probably is heavy metal.
Anybody got a different choice on best soundtrack of all time?
My
Indiana
favorite
Jones and the Temple of Doom.
I think Space Jam is pretty good.
That's what I was going to say in terms of earworms that never went away.
Oh, yeah, Space Jam's good.
Yeah, I think that's my vote. Even though I'm not a fan of that kind of music necessarily. I mean, I'll still listen to it. It's fine. But in terms of best soundtrack, that probably... I mean, if you take the soundtrack away, it doesn't succeed.
You know, in the 90s, you were grooving to "I Believe I Can Fly."
Come on, ride the train and ride it up. In Parham. That was on that one, right? That was on Space Jam. It's a Space Jam. Okay. What films are the panel really excited to see between now and the end of the year?
Godzilla Minus Zero.
Yeah.
Is Minus Zero coming out this year?
Yeah. By
yeah.
far.
Yes.
By far. My most
And the
anticipated
re-release
film.
of -1. I'm just I want to go see that too.
Yep. But I'm okay with seeing the next Spider-Man. I'll give it a chance.
Yeah. Spider-Man is up there for me. Masters of the Universe is up there for me. Yeah. That's and you know, I'd like to see that last Dune, but I have to watch the other ones again because I don't remember anything about them.
Yep. Retromeister, with the failure of Mando and Grogu, what's going to be the fate of Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling's Starfighter movie? Could Ryan's star power save the film before it comes out? Yes. Ryan Gosling is big enough that he can carry the movie, but we don't know that.
Mm-hmm. It also depends on how the trailer looks. So,
yeah. Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat 2. What will perform better at the box office?
For the sake of Street Fighter, I hope Street Fighter because Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat
I think
2
Street
performed
Fighter
like Mortal
will.
Kombat 2.
Yeah. Street Fighter better win. Just for the sake
Phil,
of...
you more Street Fighter guy or Mortal Kombat guy?
I would say probably Street Fighter.
Who's your character in Street Fighter?
I'm basic. I like Ryu. I like the Shotos. I like Ryu, Akuma.
Mm-hmm.
I like Sagat in Street Fighter 4 because he's
because he's super OP.
Yeah, he's insane. Yeah.
My wife's favorite fictional character is Chun-Li, and she had never seen the Street Fighter 2 anime movie from the 90s. And I just showed it to her the other day. I forgot how good it was. It's so good.
Yes.
Let's see here. Karen Owen, Lorne, how did you get R2 to fly with you?
Ask nicely.
I wish I could do an R2 sound. We don't have it. Woofle, what would you do for a Klondike bar? For me, nothing. Nothing. I'm not a Klondike bar guy. It's plain.
There's nothing I won't do for a Klondike bar.
You shut your mouth. It's just a plain little bar of ice cream.
The toffee ones are good.
Yeah, the toffee one. But that doesn't rhyme. It doesn't, it doesn't have the same feel. What would you do for a toffee Klondike bar? William Schweikert, the chief, is out there. What Doctor Who actor would make a good 007?
None of them.
Oh. Also for Phil, secret Asian man.
It's not that secret.
Yeah. All right. Is there any actor
it's pretty out
from
there.
Doctor Who would be a good 007?
We talked about this on Culture Crossfire a little bit. I don't think Matt Smith would be a good James Bond, but he would be a phenomenal Bond villain.
Yes. I think it'd be good Bond villain.
All right. Well, folks, that is the end of the Q&As. Thank you, folks, for helping us hit the Super Chat goal. And such a pleasure to move on over to those Q&As with all of you. All right. One last time. Let's run around the horn. And Lauren, I'm going to skip you tonight just because we're busy. Marv, the M4 Empire, what you got coming out?
We got plenty. We've got more Culture Crossfire Thursday morning at, I believe we're starting normal time at 9 a.m. So check that out Thursday morning. We've got the M4 Cast Thursday night at 8 p.m. So, and, you know, all different videos and streams coming throughout the week. Wizard and I are also posting clips from Culture Crossfire on both of our channels. So check those out.
And Phil, what's coming out on your channel soon?
Yeah, I should be live probably tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow on Mr. Philip Chan, and then on Saturdays, be on the lookout for Project Egg Rolls. That's it. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, a great pleasure. And Andy Masterson, we come to you as the final guy. What's coming by your channel?
Well, I'm hoping to showcase my Culture Casino superhero action figure, and I'm also sculpting some radioactive hamsters that glow in the dark.
Ooh, well, you know, it won't be long, Andy, before we can do a pro action figure. I'm not suggesting you have to do one, but you know,
I'm
it's
planning on it.
Finally a possibility. So that's different, eh? That's different. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't miss out. I Go on Camera Wednesday night, 10 p.m. A little later than usual, but that's to get all the guests we need. Tomorrow at noon, we'll see you real soon. And folks, the dream to stream comes true because of you. Thank you for being the gigawatts of all gigawatts. You're seen, you're appreciated. Let summer begin. We'll see you again tomorrow.
The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are...
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint.
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So folks, as we always say, as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.